The Theory of Evolution. The theory of evolution by natural selection stands as one of the most transformative discoveries in human history. Proposed by Charles Darwin in his groundbreaking work, On the Origin of Species, published in 1859, this theory fundamentally reshaped our understanding of life on Earth. Before Darwin, people largely believed that species were fixed and unchanging, created in their current forms by divine intervention or some other mysterious process. But Darwin's theory offered a revolutionary explanation. All living organisms share a common ancestry and have diversified over millions of years through gradual changes driven by natural processes. Charles Darwin himself was an extraordinary figure whose curiosity about the natural world led him to uncover one of its deepest secrets. Born in 1809 in Shrewsbury, England, Darwin grew up in a family of thinkers and scientists. His grandfather, Erasmus Darwin, had already speculated about the transmutation of species, but it was Charles who would provide the evidence and framework to explain it. The turning point came during his 5-year voyage aboard the HMS Beagle, which took him to remote corners of the globe. As the ship's naturalist, he collected specimens, observed wildlife, and marveled at the diversity of life. One of his most pivotal stops was the Galapagos Islands, where he noticed subtle differences in the beaks of finches across various islands. These observations planted the seeds of his revolutionary idea that environmental pressures could drive the adaptation of species. When Darwin returned to England, he spent decades meticulously analyzing his findings and gathering additional evidence. He corresponded with other naturalists, conducted experiments, and studied fossils, anatomy, and embryology. However, he hesitated to publish his ideas because he knew they would be controversial. It wasn't until Alfred Russel Wallace independently arrived at similar conclusions that Darwin felt compelled to share his work. In 1858, their theories were jointly presented, and the following year, Darwin published On the Origin of Species. The book was an instant sensation, sparking both admiration and fierce debate. At the heart of Darwin's theory is the concept of natural selection, often summarized as survival of the fittest. But what does this really mean? Imagine a population of animals or plants. Within that group, individuals exhibit variations in traits like size, color, behavior, or resistance to disease. Many of these traits are heritable, meaning they can be passed down from parents to offspring. Now, consider that resources like food, water, and shelter are limited. In any given environment, some traits will give individuals a better chance of surviving and reproducing than others. Over time, those advantageous traits become more common in the population, while less favorable ones fade away. This process leads to significant changes in populations, eventually giving rise to entirely new species. A classic example of natural selection in action is the peppered moth in industrial England. Before the Industrial Revolution, most moths were light-colored, blending seamlessly with lichen-covered tree trunks. However, as pollution darkened the trees, darker moths gained a survival advantage because they were less visible to predators. Within just a few decades, the proportion of dark moths in the population increased dramatically, a clear demonstration of evolution happening right before our eyes. Since Darwin's time, overwhelming evidence has accumulated to support the theory of evolution. Fossils, for instance, provide a chronological record of life on Earth, showing clear transitions between ancient and modern species. Take Archaeopteryx, a creature with both reptilian and avian features. Its fossilized remains illustrate the evolutionary link between dinosaurs and birds. Comparative anatomy also reveals fascinating connections. Consider the forelimbs of humans, bats, whales, and birds. Despite their different functions, these structures share a common design, suggesting descent from a common ancestor. Genetics has further solidified the case for evolution. Advances in molecular biology have shown striking genetic similarities among diverse organisms. Humans, for example, share approximately 98% of their DNA with chimpanzees, underscoring our close evolutionary relationship. Even pseudogenes, non-functional remnants of once active genes, are found across species, providing additional evidence of shared ancestry. Biogeography, the study of species distribution, aligns perfectly with evolutionary predictions. Marsupials, for instance, are predominantly found in Australia, reflecting the continent's isolation and unique evolutionary history. And developmental biology shows that many organisms undergo similar stages of development early in life, hinting at common origins. Human embryos, for example, temporarily develop pharyngeal arches, reminiscent of fish gills. The impact of the theory of evolution extends far beyond biology. In medicine, understanding evolution helps explain phenomena like antibiotic resistance, where bacteria evolve to withstand drugs. In agriculture, selective breeding mimics natural selection to produce crops and livestock with desirable traits. Conservation efforts rely on evolutionary principles to protect endangered species and preserve biodiversity. Beyond science, the theory has sparked intense philosophical and cultural debates. When first introduced, it challenged deeply held religious beliefs about creation and humanity's place in the universe. While some initially rejected the idea, others embraced it as a testament to the beauty and complexity of nature. Today, evolution remains a cornerstone of modern science, supported by an ever-growing body of evidence. Of course, misconceptions about evolution persist. One common misunderstanding is that evolution implies progress toward higher forms of life. In reality, evolution is directionless. It simply favors traits that enhance survival and reproduction in specific environments. Another misconception is that evolution occurs in individuals rather than populations. Traits do not change within an individual's lifetime. Instead, populations evolve over generations. Some critics argue that gaps in the fossil record disprove evolution, but these gaps are expected due to the rarity of fossilization and the vast timescales involved. Moreover, transitional fossils like Tiktaalik, a fish-like tetrapod, continue to fill in missing pieces of the puzzle. Modern evolutionary biology has expanded upon Darwin's insights. Gregor Mendel's discovery of genetics in the late 19th century provided the missing piece of the puzzle, the mechanism of inheritance. Later, the modern synthesis of the mid-20th century integrated genetics with Darwinian evolution, explaining how mutations and genetic recombination contribute to variation. More recently, fields like epigenetics and evolutionary developmental biology, or EVO-DEVO, have revealed additional layers of complexity. Epigenetic changes, which affect gene expression without altering DNA sequences, can sometimes be inherited, adding nuance to traditional views of heredity. EVO-DEVO explores how small genetic changes can lead to dramatic shifts in morphology, shedding light on the origins of major evolutionary innovations. The theory of evolution by natural selection is more than just a scientific concept. It's a lens through which we view the interconnectedness of all life. From the tiniest microbe to the largest mammal, every organism carries the imprint of billions of years of adaptation and survival. By understanding evolution, we gain insight into the past, present, and future of life on Earth. As you reflect on Darwin's monumental contribution, consider the countless ways evolution shapes our daily lives, from the foods we eat to the medicines we rely on. It reminds us that we are part of a grand, ongoing story, woven together by the threads of time and chance. The discovery of DNA. The discovery of DNA is one of the most pivotal moments in the history of science, unraveling the very blueprint of life itself. Before its structure was understood, scientists knew that something within living organisms carried the instructions for growth, development, and reproduction. But what exactly this something was and how it worked remained a mystery. That all changed in 1953 when James Watson, Francis Crick, Rosalind Franklin, and Maurice Wilkins unveiled the double helix structure of DNA, revolutionizing biology and paving the way for countless advancements in medicine, genetics, and biotechnology. To truly appreciate the significance of this discovery, we need to step back and explore the journey that led to it. The story begins in the mid-19th century with Gregor Mendel, an Austrian monk who conducted experiments on pea plants. Through meticulous breeding and observation, Mendel identified patterns of inheritance, laying the groundwork for what would later become the field of genetics. However, at the time, his work went largely unnoticed. It wasn't until the early 20th century that scientists revisited Mendel's findings and began searching for the physical substance responsible for heredity. By the 1940s, researchers had narrowed their focus to two possible candidates: proteins or nucleic acids. Proteins were favored by many because they seemed more complex and versatile, but a small group of scientists suspected that nucleic acids, specifically deoxyribonucleic acid or DNA, might hold the key. This suspicion gained traction in 1944, thanks to an experiment by Oswald Avery, Colin MacLeod, and Macklin McCarty. They demonstrated that DNA, not protein, was the material responsible for transforming harmless bacteria into virulent strains. Their work provided the first strong evidence that DNA was the carrier of genetic information, but skepticism remained. Many scientists still doubted that such a seemingly simple molecule could encode the complexity of life. The breakthrough came in the early 1950s, driven by advances in chemistry and technology. At King's College London, Rosalind Franklin and Maurice Wilkins were using X-ray crystallography to study the structure of DNA. This technique involves bombarding a molecule with X-rays and analyzing the resulting diffraction patterns to deduce its shape. Franklin's painstaking work produced a now famous image known as Photo 51, which revealed the helical structure of DNA. Though she didn't immediately recognize the full implications of her data, her contributions were invaluable. Meanwhile, at the Cavendish Laboratory in Cambridge, James Watson and Francis Crick were racing to solve the puzzle of DNA structure. They weren't conducting experiments themselves, but instead relied on insights from others, including Franklin's unpublished data, which they obtained through Wilkins. Combining this information with their own knowledge of chemistry and physics, Watson and Crick proposed a model of DNA as a double helix, a twisted ladder composed of two strands running in opposite directions. Each strand consists of a sugar phosphate backbone with nitrogenous bases projecting inward. These bases pair specifically. Adenine, A, always pairs with thymine, T, and cytosine, C, always pairs with guanine. This complementary base pairing explained how DNA could replicate itself during cell division, ensuring that genetic information is faithfully passed on to new generations. Their discovery was published in the journal Nature in April 1953, accompanied by a modest yet profound statement. It has not escaped our notice that the specific pairing we have postulated immediately suggests a possible copying mechanism for the genetic material. In just a few sentences, Watson and Crick had unlocked one of nature's greatest secrets. For their work, they shared the Nobel Prize in Physiology or Medicine in 1962 with Maurice Wilkins. Tragically, Rosalind Franklin had passed away in 1958 and was ineligible for the award, though her contributions are now widely acknowledged. The implications of the double helix model were staggering. It confirmed that DNA was indeed the molecule of heredity, and provided a clear mechanism for how genetic information is stored and transmitted. The sequence of bases along the DNA strand acts as a code, spelling out instructions for building proteins, the molecules that perform most of the functions necessary for life. This realization sparked a new era of research into the genetic code, culminating in the identification of codons, three-letter sequences of DNA that correspond to specific amino acids, the building blocks of proteins. The discovery of DNA structure also laid the foundation for modern biotechnology. One of the earliest applications was recombinant DNA technology, developed in the 1970s. By cutting and splicing DNA from different sources, scientists could create hybrid molecules with novel properties. This breakthrough enabled the production of synthetic insulin, the first genetically engineered drug, which transformed the treatment of diabetes. Since then, DNA-based technologies have expanded exponentially, leading to innovations like polymerase chain reaction, PCR, which allows scientists to amplify tiny amounts of DNA for analysis, and CRISPR-Cas9, a revolutionary tool for editing genes with unprecedented precision. In medicine, understanding DNA has revolutionized diagnostics and treatments. Genetic testing can now identify predispositions to diseases like cancer, allowing for early intervention and personalized care. Gene therapy holds the promise of curing inherited disorders by correcting faulty DNA sequences. Forensic science has been transformed by DNA profiling, enabling investigators to link suspects to crime scenes with remarkable accuracy. Even agriculture has benefited, as crops can be genetically modified to resist pests, tolerate drought, or enhance nutritional value. Beyond its practical applications, the discovery of DNA has profoundly influenced our philosophical understanding of life. It underscores the unity of all living things. Whether you're a bacterium, a tree, or a human being, your DNA is written in the same four-letter alphabet. This universality speaks to the deep connections between species and reinforces the idea that we are all part of a shared evolutionary heritage. At the same time, DNA highlights the incredible diversity of life, as even slight variations in its sequence can result in vastly different traits and characteristics. Despite its monumental impact, the discovery of DNA was not without controversy. Questions about ethics and ownership have arisen as genetic technologies have advanced. Should companies be allowed to patent genes? How do we balance the potential benefits of genetic engineering with the risks of unintended consequences? And what does it mean for privacy if our entire genetic makeup can be sequenced and analyzed? These debates reflect the dual-edged nature of scientific progress. While it offers immense opportunities, it also raises challenging moral and societal questions. Looking ahead, the study of DNA continues to push the boundaries of what we know about life. The Human Genome Project, completed in 2003, mapped all the genes in the human genome, providing a comprehensive reference for understanding health and disease. Advances in sequencing technology have made it faster and cheaper than ever to analyze DNA, fueling fields like genomics, epigenetics, and synthetic biology. Researchers are now exploring how environmental factors influence gene expression, uncovering the dynamic interplay between nature and nurture. Others are investigating ancient DNA, shedding light on the origins and migrations of our ancestors. As we reflect on the discovery of DNA, it's worth pausing to marvel at its elegance and simplicity. A single molecule, composed of just 4 types of building blocks, contains the instructions for creating and sustaining life. It's a testament to the ingenuity of nature and the power of human curiosity. From the humble beginnings of X-ray images and chemical models to the cutting-edge tools of today, the story of DNA reminds us that science is a collaborative endeavor, built on the efforts of countless individuals working across disciplines and generations. The discovery of DNA didn't just change biology, it changed the world. It gave us the tools to understand ourselves at the most fundamental level and opened doors to possibilities once thought impossible. Whether it's curing diseases, solving crimes, or exploring the origins of life, DNA remains at the heart of some of humanity's greatest achievements. As you contemplate this extraordinary molecule, consider the ways it connects us to each other and to the vast web of life on Earth. The Big Bang Theory. The Big Bang Theory is one of the most profound and awe-inspiring explanations of how our universe came to be. It tells the story of a moment roughly 13.8 billion years ago, when all the matter, energy, space, and time we know today emerged from an unimaginably dense and hot singularity. This theory has not only reshaped our understanding of the cosmos, but also provided answers to some of humanity's oldest questions. Where did we come from? How did the universe begin? And what will its ultimate fate be? To fully grasp the significance of the Big Bang Theory, it's important to understand the context in which it was developed. For centuries, people believed that the universe was eternal and unchanging, a static stage upon which the drama of life unfolded. Even Albert Einstein initially resisted the idea of a dynamic universe when he formulated his general theory of relativity in 1915. His equations suggested that the universe must either be expanding or contracting, but this contradicted the prevailing belief in a steady-state cosmos. To reconcile his findings with the notion of a static universe, Einstein introduced a mathematical fudge factor called the cosmological constant. However, this adjustment would later prove unnecessary, as evidence mounted for an evolving universe. The first major clue came in 1929, thanks to Edwin Hubble, an astronomer working at the Mount Wilson Observatory in California. Using the newly constructed Hooker telescope, one of the largest and most powerful instruments of its time, Hubble observed distant galaxies and noticed something remarkable. Their light appeared redder than expected. This phenomenon, known as redshift, occurs when objects move away from us, stretching the wavelength of light they emit. What Hubble discovered was that nearly all galaxies were receding from Earth, and the farther away they were, the faster they seemed to be moving. This observation led to the formulation of Hubble's law, which states that the universe is expanding uniformly in all directions. Hubble's discovery had profound implications. If galaxies are moving apart today, it means they must have been closer together in the past. Extrapolating backward in time, scientists realized that the entire universe must have originated from a single point, an event now known as the Big Bang. This revelation marked a paradigm shift in cosmology, replacing the idea of a static universe with a dynamic, evolving one. The term Big Bang itself was coined somewhat sarcastically by British astronomer Fred Hoyle during a BBC radio broadcast in 1949. Hoyle was a staunch advocate of the competing steady-state theory, which posited that the universe had no beginning or end, and that new matter continuously formed to fill the gaps left by expanding space. Despite his skepticism, the name stuck, and over the following decades, mounting evidence solidified the Big Bang theory as the leading explanation for the origin of the universe. One of the most compelling pieces of evidence came in 1965, when Arno Penzias and Robert Wilson accidentally stumbled upon the cosmic microwave background, CMB radiation. While testing a sensitive microwave receiver at Bell Labs, they detected a faint, uniform signal coming from every direction in the sky. At first they thought it might be interference caused by pigeon droppings inside their equipment, but after cleaning it out and finding the signal still persisted, they realized they had uncovered something extraordinary. The CMB turned out to be the residual heat left over from the Big Bang, cooled to just a few degrees above absolute zero by the expansion of the universe. Its discovery provided direct observational proof of the Big Bang theory and earned Penzias and Wilson the Nobel Prize in Physics in 1978. Another key piece of evidence supporting the Big Bang theory is the abundance of light elements like hydrogen, helium, and lithium. According to the theory, these elements were forged in the first few minutes after the Big Bang, during a period known as Big Bang nucleosynthesis. As the universe expanded and cooled, protons and neutrons combined to form atomic nuclei in precise ratios that match what we observe today. Heavier elements, such as carbon and oxygen, were produced much later inside stars through nuclear fusion and scattered across the cosmos during supernova explosions. The agreement between theoretical predictions and observed abundances of these elements further validates the Big Bang model. In addition to explaining the origins of matter and radiation, the Big Bang theory also accounts for the large-scale structure of the universe. Tiny fluctuations in the density of matter shortly after the Big Bang gave rise to regions of slightly higher gravitational pull, attracting more material over time. These regions eventually coalesced into galaxies, clusters, and superclusters, forming the cosmic web we see today. Observations from telescopes, like the Hubble Space Telescope, and missions like the Sloan Digital Sky Survey have revealed this intricate tapestry of filaments and voids, providing yet another confirmation of the theory. Despite its successes, the Big Bang theory leaves some fundamental questions unanswered. For instance, what caused the Big Bang in the first place? Was there anything before it? And why does the universe appear so finely tuned for life? These mysteries have spurred the development of speculative ideas like inflationary cosmology, string theory, and multiverse hypotheses. Inflation, proposed by physicist Alan Guth in the early 1980s, suggests that the universe underwent an exponential growth spurt in the first fraction of a second after the Big Bang, smoothing out irregularities and setting the stage for the structures we observe today. While inflation remains a leading hypothesis, it is yet to be definitively proven. The Big Bang theory also raises philosophical and existential questions about our place in the universe. Knowing that the cosmos began as a tiny speck of infinite density challenges our intuition and forces us to confront the limits of human comprehension. At the same time, it inspires wonder and humility, reminding us that we are part of something far greater than ourselves. Every atom in our bodies, every star in the night sky, and every galaxy stretching billions of light-years away can trace its lineage back to that singular moment of creation. Today, scientists continue to refine our understanding of the Big Bang and the evolution of the universe. Projects like the James Webb Space Telescope aim to peer deeper into the early universe, capturing images of the first galaxies that formed after the Big Bang. Meanwhile, experiments at particle accelerators like CERN seek to recreate conditions similar to those in the moments immediately following the Big Bang, shedding light on the fundamental forces and particles that govern reality. As we reflect on the Big Bang Theory, it's worth pausing to appreciate its sheer audacity. From a single point of infinite density, the universe burst forth, expanding and cooling over billions of years to create the rich diversity of stars, planets, and life we see today. It's a story of transformation, complexity, and interconnectedness, a reminder that even the smallest ripples in spacetime can give rise to the grandest structures imaginable. The Big Bang Theory doesn't just tell us where we came from. It invites us to imagine where we're going. Will the universe continue to expand forever, growing colder and darker until all stars burn out? Or will gravity eventually halt its expansion, causing it to collapse back into a big crunch? Perhaps dark energy, the mysterious force driving the accelerated expansion of the universe, holds the key to its ultimate fate. Whatever the answer may be, the quest to understand the cosmos is far from over. As you contemplate the vastness of the universe and the incredible journey it has taken since the Big Bang, consider the role you play in this cosmic story. You are made of stardust, forged in the hearts of ancient suns and scattered across the galaxy. Your existence is a testament to the power of curiosity, exploration, and discovery, the very qualities that drive science forward. The Big Bang Theory reminds us that we are not merely observers of the universe, we are participants in its ongoing saga. The germ theory of disease. The germ theory of disease is one of the most transformative discoveries in medical history, fundamentally changing how we understand and combat illness. Before this theory was widely accepted, people believed that diseases were caused by mysterious forces like bad air, imbalances in bodily humors, or even supernatural curses. It wasn't until the 19th century that scientists began to uncover the truth. Many diseases are caused by microscopic organisms, bacteria, viruses, fungi, and parasites that invade the body and disrupt its normal functions. This revelation not only revolutionized medicine, but also laid the foundation for modern public health practices, saving countless lives in the process. To appreciate the significance of the germ theory of disease, it's important to understand the state of medicine before its acceptance. For centuries, illnesses were attributed to vague and often incorrect causes. The ancient Greek physician Hippocrates, often called the father of medicine, proposed the theory of the four humors: blood, phlegm, black bile, and yellow bile, suggesting that imbalances among these fluids caused disease. While this idea dominated Western medicine for over a millennium, it offered little insight into prevention or treatment. Similarly, the miasma theory, which persisted well into the 19th century, claimed that diseases spread through foul-smelling vapors or bad air. This belief led to misguided efforts like burning incense or avoiding swamps, rather than addressing the true sources of infection. The shift toward a more scientific understanding of disease began in the mid-1800s, thanks to the work of several pioneering scientists. One of the earliest contributors was Ignaz Semmelweis, a Hungarian physician who worked in Vienna during the 1840s. At the time, childbirth fever, also called as puerperal fever, was a leading cause of death among women giving birth in hospitals. Semmelweis noticed that mortality rates were significantly lower when midwives delivered babies compared to doctors. He hypothesized that doctors who often performed autopsies before attending to patients might be transferring cadaverous particles on their hands. To test his theory, he introduced mandatory hand-washing with chlorinated lime solutions among hospital staff. The results were dramatic. Maternal mortality rates plummeted. Despite this success, Semmelweis faced fierce resistance from the medical community, which was reluctant to accept that physicians themselves could be spreading disease. Around the same time, British surgeon Joseph Lister was grappling with similar issues in surgical settings. Post-operative infections were rampant, claiming the lives of many patients. Inspired by Louis Pasteur's experiments showing that microorganisms caused fermentation and spoilage, Lister hypothesized that these tiny organisms might also be responsible for wound infections. In 1867, he began using carbolic acid, phenol, as an antiseptic during surgeries, sterilizing instruments, dressings, and even the air in operating rooms. His methods drastically reduced infection rates and established the importance of cleanliness in medical practice. Lister's innovations earned him the title Father of Antiseptic Surgery, and his principles remain central to modern surgical protocols. However, the definitive proof of the germ theory of disease came from the groundbreaking research of Louis Pasteur and Robert Koch. Pasteur, a French chemist and microbiologist, conducted a series of elegant experiments that demonstrated the role of microorganisms in causing disease. One of his most famous studies involved disproving spontaneous generation, the long-held belief that life could spontaneously arise from non-living matter. By carefully controlling environmental conditions, Pasteur showed that microorganisms came from pre-existing microbes, not thin air. He then extended his findings to explain phenomena like food spoilage and infectious diseases. For example, he identified bacteria as the culprits behind anthrax and rabies, developing vaccines to combat them. Pasteur's work not only validated the germ theory, but also paved the way for immunology and preventive medicine. Meanwhile, German physician Robert Koch took the germ theory of disease to the next level by establishing criteria for linking specific microorganisms to specific diseases. Known as Koch's postulates, these guidelines required researchers to isolate the suspected pathogen, grow it in pure culture, reintroduce it into a healthy host to reproduce the disease, and then re-isolate it from the newly infected individual. Using this rigorous approach, Koch identified the bacteria responsible for anthrax, tuberculosis, and cholera, providing irrefutable evidence that germs cause these illnesses. His meticulous methods set a new standard for scientific investigation and earned him the Nobel Prize in Physiology or Medicine in 1905. The acceptance of the germ theory of disease had profound implications for both medicine and society. On the medical front, it led to the development of antibiotics, vaccines, and other treatments targeting specific pathogens. For instance, the discovery of penicillin by Alexander Fleming in 1928 marked the beginning of the antibiotic era, enabling doctors to treat bacterial infections that were once fatal. Vaccination campaigns eradicated devastating diseases like smallpox and drastically reduced the incidence of others, such as polio and measles. These advances transformed medicine from a largely reactive discipline into a proactive one, focused on prevention and early intervention. On a societal level, the germ theory spurred significant improvements in public health infrastructure. Cities began implementing sanitation measures, such as sewage systems and clean water supplies, to reduce the spread of waterborne diseases like cholera and typhoid fever. Hospitals adopted strict hygiene protocols to minimize cross-contamination between patients. Hand washing, once dismissed as unnecessary, became a cornerstone of infection control. Even everyday habits changed. People started washing their hands regularly and covering their mouths when coughing or sneezing. These simple yet effective practices have saved millions of lives and continue to play a critical role in preventing outbreaks. Despite its monumental impact, the germ theory of disease didn't solve all medical mysteries overnight. Some illnesses, particularly those caused by viruses, remained poorly understood for decades because viruses are much smaller and harder to study than bacteria. It wasn't until the invention of the electron microscope in the 1930s that scientists could visualize these elusive pathogens. Additionally, while the germ theory explained many infectious diseases, it couldn't account for non-infectious conditions like cancer, heart disease, or diabetes. This realization prompted further research into genetics, lifestyle factors, and environmental influences, broadening our understanding of health and disease. Today, the legacy of the germ theory of disease is evident in virtually every aspect of modern healthcare. From routine checkups to global pandemics, the principles of microbiology guide how we diagnose, treat, and prevent illness. Advances in molecular biology and genomics have deepened our knowledge of pathogens, allowing us to track mutations, develop targeted therapies, and predict outbreaks. Technologies like CRISPR are even being explored as tools to edit harmful genes in microbes, potentially neutralizing threats before they emerge. Yet challenges remain. Antibiotic resistance, driven by overuse and misuse of these drugs, threatens to undo decades of progress. Emerging infectious diseases, such as COVID-19, remind us that microbes evolve rapidly and can exploit weaknesses in our defenses. Climate change and globalization exacerbate these risks by altering ecosystems and facilitating the spread of pathogens across borders. Addressing these issues requires continued investment in research, education, and collaboration at local, national, and international levels. As you reflect on the germ theory of disease, consider its dual nature. It is both a triumph of human ingenuity and a humbling reminder of our vulnerability. Microbes are everywhere, in the air we breathe, the water we drink, and the surfaces we touch. They are invisible yet omnipresent, capable of causing immense suffering, but also indispensable to life itself. Many beneficial microbes live symbiotically within us, aiding digestion, synthesizing vitamins, and protecting against harmful invaders. Understanding this delicate balance has taught us that eradicating all germs isn't the goal. Rather, it's about managing them wisely to promote health and prevent harm. The germ theory of disease reminds us that science is a journey, not a destination. Each discovery builds upon previous knowledge, revealing new layers of complexity and opportunity. As we confront current and future health challenges, let us draw inspiration from the pioneers who dared to question conventional wisdom and seek answers in the unseen world of microorganisms. Their curiosity and perseverance have shaped the course of history, proving that even the tiniest creatures can have the biggest impact. The laws of thermodynamics. The laws of thermodynamics are among the most fundamental principles in science, governing everything from the behavior of atoms to the fate of the universe itself. These laws describe the relationships between energy, heat, work, and entropy, offering a universal framework for understanding how systems function and evolve over time. Though they may sound abstract or technical, the laws of thermodynamics are deeply embedded in our everyday lives, influencing everything from the engines that power our cars to the biological processes that keep us alive. They also challenge us to think about the limits of what's possible, reminding us that even the most advanced technologies must obey the immutable rules of nature. To truly appreciate the significance of the laws of thermodynamics, we need to start with their origins. The study of thermodynamics began in earnest during the Industrial Revolution, as engineers sought to improve the efficiency of steam engines, the machines that powered factories, trains, and ships. Early attempts to optimize these engines led to the formulation of the first two laws, which were later refined and expanded into the comprehensive system we know today. While the language of thermodynamics can be mathematical and complex, its core ideas are surprisingly intuitive once you break them down. Let's begin with the first law of thermodynamics, often referred to as the law of energy conservation. Simply put, this law states that energy cannot be created or destroyed. It can only change forms. For example, when you burn wood in a fireplace, the chemical energy stored in the wood is converted into heat and light. Similarly, when you drive a car, the chemical energy in gasoline is transformed into mechanical energy to move the vehicle, along with some waste heat. This principle underscores the interconnectedness of all forms of energy and highlights the importance of efficiency. How much useful work can be extracted from a given amount of energy before it dissipates as waste? The first law might seem straightforward, but it has profound implications. It tells us that the total energy in the universe is constant, meaning there's no free lunch when it comes to energy production. Every source of energy, whether fossil fuels, solar panels, or nuclear reactors, operates within this constraint. Understanding this law helps explain why renewable energy sources like wind and solar are so valuable. They harness energy flows that are already present in the environment without depleting finite resources. At the same time, it reminds us that energy conversion always involves losses, which is why engineers strive to minimize inefficiencies in everything from household appliances to industrial machinery. Next, we come to the second law of thermodynamics, arguably the most famous and philosophically intriguing of the three. The second law introduces the concept of entropy, a measure of disorder or randomness in a system. It states that in any energy transfer or transformation, the total entropy of an isolated system will always increase over time. In other words, natural processes tend to move toward a state of greater disorder unless external work is done to counteract this trend. A classic example is a hot cup of coffee cooling down on a table. Heat naturally flows from the hotter coffee to the cooler surroundings until thermal equilibrium is reached, a state of maximum entropy where no further net heat exchange occurs. The second law has far-reaching consequences, both practical and existential. On a practical level, it explains why certain processes are irreversible. You can't unscramble an egg, unburn fuel, or reverse the flow of heat from cold to hot without expending additional energy. This irreversibility sets fundamental limits on the efficiency of machines and devices. For instance, no engine can convert 100% of its input energy into useful work because some energy is inevitably lost as waste heat, increasing the overall entropy of the system. On a deeper level, the second law raises questions about the direction of time and the ultimate fate of the universe. If entropy always increases, then the cosmos itself is moving inexorably toward a state of maximum disorder, often referred to as heat death. In this hypothetical scenario, all usable energy would be evenly distributed, leaving no gradients to drive processes like stars shining or life thriving. While this vision of the future may seem bleak, it also underscores the preciousness of order and complexity in the present moment. Life itself can be seen as a temporary victory against entropy, maintaining structure and organization through the continuous input of energy from the sun and other sources. Finally, we have the third law of thermodynamics, which deals with the behavior of systems at absolute zero, the lowest possible temperature, equivalent to negative 273.15 degrees Celsius. According to this law, as a system approaches absolute zero, its entropy approaches a minimum value. In practice, this means that achieving absolute zero is impossible, as doing so would require removing all residual motion from particles, which violates quantum mechanics. Instead, scientists can get incredibly close to absolute zero using advanced techniques like laser cooling and magnetic refrigeration, enabling groundbreaking experiments in fields like superconductivity and quantum computing. Together, the laws of thermodynamics provide a powerful lens through which to view the world. They reveal the underlying unity of physical phenomena, connecting seemingly disparate domains like chemistry, biology, engineering, and cosmology. Consider, for example, how these laws apply to living organisms. Life depends on maintaining low entropy states. Cells carefully regulate their internal environments, converting energy from food into ordered structures and functions. Yet, this order comes at a cost. Living systems export entropy to their surroundings, releasing heat and waste products in the process. Without a constant influx of energy from the sun, life as we know it would collapse under the weight of entropy. The laws of thermodynamics also shape our technological landscape. From refrigerators and air conditioners to power plants and rockets, nearly every device relies on these principles to operate. Take the internal combustion engine, for instance. Fuel combustion generates high-pressure gases that expand and push pistons, converting chemical energy into mechanical work. However, not all the energy is harnessed efficiently. Much of it escapes as heat, raising the entropy of the surroundings. Engineers continually innovate to improve efficiency, whether by designing better materials, optimizing combustion processes, or exploring alternative energy sources. Philosophically, the laws of thermodynamics invite us to reflect on the nature of existence itself. They remind us that nothing lasts forever, not stars, planets, or even the universe as a whole. But rather than viewing this impermanence as a cause for despair, we can see it as a call to cherish the fleeting moments of order and beauty around us. Whether it's the intricate patterns of snowflakes, the vibrant colors of autumn leaves, or the warmth of human connection, these experiences stand out precisely because they defy the relentless march of entropy. As we contemplate the laws of thermodynamics, let us marvel at their elegance and universality. They govern the smallest particles and the largest galaxies, bridging scales and disciplines in ways that few other scientific concepts can. They teach us humility, reminding us that even the most sophisticated technologies must bow to the dictates of nature. And they inspire curiosity, urging us to explore the boundaries of what's possible within their constraints. In essence, the laws of thermodynamics are not just abstract rules. They are a testament to the interconnectedness of all things. They remind us that energy flows through every aspect of our lives, shaping the world in ways both visible and invisible. As you go about your day, take a moment to notice the subtle workings of these laws: the warmth of sunlight on your skin, the hum of electricity powering your devices, the gentle rustle of leaves in the breeze. Each of these phenomena is a manifestation of the timeless dance of energy and entropy, weaving together the fabric of reality. The discovery of penicillin. The discovery of penicillin is one of the most serendipitous and transformative moments in medical history. It marked the dawn of the antibiotic era, revolutionizing healthcare and saving millions of lives by providing humanity with its first effective weapon against bacterial infections. Before penicillin, even minor wounds or routine surgeries could lead to deadly infections, and diseases like pneumonia, tuberculosis, and syphilis were often fatal. The accidental discovery of this miracle drug not only changed the course of medicine, but also reshaped society, offering hope where there had once been despair. To fully appreciate the significance of penicillin, we must first understand the grim reality of medicine before antibiotics. For centuries, bacterial infections were among the leading causes of death worldwide. Soldiers wounded in battle frequently succumbed to infected injuries, and childbirth was perilous due to the risk of puerperal fever. Physicians had few tools at their disposal to combat these invisible killers. Treatments ranged from bloodletting and herbal remedies to mercury, a toxic substance that did more harm than good. Even as late as the early 20th century, doctors could do little more than provide supportive care, hoping that patients' immune systems would fight off the infection on their own. The breakthrough came in 1928, thanks to a Scottish bacteriologist named Alexander Fleming. At the time, Fleming was working at St. Mary's Hospital in London, studying staphylococci, bacteria responsible for a wide range of infections. One day, while sorting through petri dishes containing colonies of these bacteria, he noticed something unusual. In one dish, a patch of mold had grown, and around it the bacteria seemed to have disappeared. Intrigued, Fleming examined the mold more closely and identified it as Penicillium notatum, a common type of fungus. He hypothesized that the mold was producing a substance capable of killing bacteria, which he dubbed penicillin. Fleming's initial experiments confirmed his suspicions. Penicillin was highly effective at destroying many types of bacteria without harming human cells. However, isolating and purifying the compound proved difficult, and Fleming lacked the resources to develop it into a practical treatment. As a result, his discovery received little attention at the time, and penicillin remained largely forgotten for over a decade. It wasn't until the outbreak of World War II that interest in antibiotics resurfaced, driven by the urgent need to treat wounded soldiers suffering from life-threatening infections. In the late 1930s and early 1940s, a team of scientists at the University of Oxford took up the challenge of refining penicillin. Led by Howard Florey, an Australian pathologist, and Ernst Boris Chain, a German-born biochemist, the group worked tirelessly to extract and concentrate the active ingredient in penicillin. Their efforts paid off in 1941 when they successfully treated their first patient, a police officer named Albert Alexander, who was dying from a severe bacterial infection. Though the supply of penicillin ran out before the treatment could be completed, the results were promising enough to secure funding for large-scale production. Mass-producing penicillin presented significant challenges. The fungus grew slowly, and extracting sufficient quantities of the drug required vast amounts of culture medium. To meet wartime demands, researchers turned to industrial fermentation techniques, scaling up production in tanks similar to those used for brewing beer. By 1943, penicillin was being manufactured in bulk and distributed to Allied troops, dramatically reducing mortality rates from infected wounds and surgical complications. Its success on the battlefield earned it widespread acclaim, and by the end of the war, penicillin had become a household name. The impact of penicillin extended far beyond military medicine. Once civilian production ramped up, the drug became widely available, transforming the treatment of infectious diseases. Conditions that had once been death sentences, such as septicemia, known as blood poisoning, meningitis, and gonorrhea, could now be cured with a simple course of antibiotics. Hospitals no longer resembled death traps, and surgery became safer and more routine. Life expectancy soared, particularly in developed countries, as infant mortality and maternal deaths plummeted. Penicillin didn't just save individual lives, it reshaped entire societies, freeing people from the constant fear of untreatable infections. The discovery of penicillin also paved the way for the development of other antibiotics, creating what became known as the golden age of antimicrobial research. Scientists began screening soil samples and natural environments for microorganisms capable of producing antibacterial compounds. This led to the discovery of streptomycin, tetracycline, erythromycin, and countless others, each targeting different types of bacteria. Together, these drugs formed a powerful arsenal against infectious diseases, enabling humanity to tackle illnesses that had plagued us for millennia. However, the story of penicillin is not without its complexities and challenges. One of the most pressing issues today is antibiotic resistance, the phenomenon whereby bacteria evolve mechanisms to withstand the effects of antibiotics. Overuse and misuse of these drugs, both in medicine and agriculture, have accelerated the emergence of resistant strains, rendering some antibiotics ineffective. Diseases like MRSA, which is short for methicillin-resistant Staphylococcus aureus, and multi-drug-resistant tuberculosis, are stark reminders of the dangers posed by resistant bacteria. If left unchecked, we risk returning to a pre-antibiotic era, where even minor infections could become deadly. Addressing antibiotic resistance requires a multifaceted approach. On the scientific front, researchers are exploring new ways to combat bacteria, such as developing novel antibiotics, harnessing bacteriophages, viruses that infect bacteria, and designing therapies that disrupt bacterial communication rather than kill them outright. Public health campaigns emphasize the importance of using antibiotics judiciously, prescribing them only when necessary, and completing prescribed courses to minimize the risk of resistance. Meanwhile, efforts are underway to improve diagnostics, ensuring that patients receive the right antibiotic for their specific infection. Despite these challenges, the legacy of penicillin endures. It remains one of the most widely used antibiotics, treating everything from strep throat to skin infections. More importantly, it serves as a symbol of human ingenuity and perseverance in the face of adversity. Fleming's accidental discovery reminds us that breakthroughs often arise from unexpected places, and that curiosity, combined with rigorous experimentation, can yield extraordinary results. Reflecting on the discovery of penicillin, it's worth considering its broader implications for science and society. It demonstrated the power of collaboration, bringing together chemists, biologists, engineers, and clinicians to solve a shared problem. It highlighted the importance of government investment in research, particularly during times of crisis. And it underscored the ethical responsibility that comes with scientific progress, to use discoveries wisely and equitably, ensuring that everyone benefits from advances in knowledge. Penicillin also invites us to think about the delicate balance between humans and microbes. While antibiotics have undoubtedly saved countless lives, they have also disrupted ecosystems within our bodies, contributing to issues like antibiotic-associated diarrhea and the rise of opportunistic pathogens. Understanding this balance is crucial as we move forward, striving to develop treatments that target harmful bacteria without harming beneficial ones. Advances in microbiome research are already shedding light on this complex interplay, offering new avenues for personalized medicine and preventive care. As you contemplate the discovery of penicillin, imagine the ripple effects it has had across generations. From the soldiers whose lives were saved on the battlefields of World War II to the children who grew up free from the specter of untreatable infections, penicillin has touched nearly every corner of the globe. It stands as a testament to the resilience of the human spirit and the boundless potential of scientific inquiry. Yet it also serves as a cautionary tale, reminding us that progress must be tempered with foresight and responsibility. In essence, the discovery of penicillin is more than just a chapter in medical history. It's a story about hope, innovation, and the enduring quest to overcome adversity. It challenges us to look beyond the horizon, seeking solutions to the problems of tomorrow while safeguarding the gains of today. Whether through the development of new antibiotics, the promotion of sustainable practices, or the cultivation of global cooperation, the lessons of penicillin continue to guide us toward a healthier, more equitable future. Einstein's Theory of Relativity. Einstein's theory of relativity is one of the most profound and revolutionary contributions to science, reshaping our understanding of space, time, energy, and gravity. It consists of two parts: the special theory of relativity, published in 1905, and the general theory of relativity, completed in 1915. Together, these theories overturned centuries of classical physics, replacing Newtonian mechanics with a new framework that accounts for the behavior of objects moving at or near the speed of light and the effects of massive bodies on space-time itself. Einstein's insights not only answered fundamental questions about the universe, but also opened doors to technologies and concepts that continue to shape modern life. To appreciate the significance of relativity, we need to step back and consider the state of physics before Einstein. For over 2 centuries, Isaac Newton's laws of motion and universal gravitation had reigned supreme, providing an accurate description of the physical world under most circumstances. However, cracks began to appear in the late 19th century as scientists probed deeper into the nature of light, electricity, and magnetism. One of the biggest puzzles was the Michelson-Morley experiment of 1887, which failed to detect the luminiferous ether, a hypothetical medium thought to carry light waves through space. This null result suggested that something was fundamentally wrong with the prevailing understanding of space and time. Enter Albert Einstein, a young patent clerk with a knack for thinking outside the box. In 1905, often called his miracle year, Einstein published 4 groundbreaking papers, one of which introduced the special theory of relativity. At its core, this theory challenged the notion that space and time are absolute and independent entities. Instead, Einstein proposed that they are interconnected, forming a 4-dimensional fabric known as spacetime. He also introduced 2 key principles: the constancy of the speed of light and the relativity of motion. The idea that the speed of light is constant, approximately 299,792 kilometers per second, or 186,282 miles per second, regardless of the observer's frame of reference, was revolutionary. It implied that measurements of time and distance depend on relative motion. For example, if you were traveling close to the speed of light, time would slow down for you compared to someone at rest, a phenomenon known as time dilation. Similarly, lengths would contract along the direction of motion, a concept called length contraction. These counterintuitive effects have been confirmed by numerous experiments, including observations of fast-moving particles in particle accelerators and precise measurements using atomic clocks aboard airplanes. One of the most famous consequences of special relativity is the equivalence of mass and energy, expressed in the iconic equation E=mc². This formula reveals that a small amount of mass can be converted into an enormous amount of energy, laying the theoretical foundation for nuclear reactions. The development of nuclear power and atomic weapons during the 20th century demonstrated the immense potential and peril of this discovery. While it brought unprecedented advances in energy production, it also highlighted the ethical dilemmas posed by scientific progress. Building on the success of special relativity, Einstein spent the next decade grappling with gravity, culminating in the publication of the General Theory of Relativity in 1915. Unlike Newton's law of universal gravitation, which described gravity as a force acting instantaneously across space, Einstein envisioned gravity as the curvature of space-time caused by massive objects. Imagine placing a heavy ball on a stretched rubber sheet. The ball creates a dip in the surface, causing smaller objects nearby to roll toward it. Similarly, planets orbit stars and moons orbit planets because their paths follow the curves in spacetime created by massive bodies. General relativity made several bold predictions that were initially met with skepticism, but later confirmed through observation. One of the earliest triumphs came in 1919, when British astronomer Arthur Eddington led an expedition to observe a total solar eclipse. By measuring the positions of stars near the Sun, he found that their light was bent slightly due to the Sun's gravitational field, a phenomenon now known as gravitational lensing. This confirmation catapulted Einstein to international fame, making him a household name synonymous with genius. Another prediction of general relativity is the existence of black holes, regions of spacetime where gravity is so strong that nothing, not even light, can escape. While the concept had been hinted at earlier, Einstein's equations provided a rigorous mathematical description of these enigmatic objects. Today, astronomers routinely study black holes, from stellar mass ones formed by collapsing stars to supermassive black holes lurking at the centers of galaxies. The first ever image of a black hole, captured in 2019 by the Event Horizon Telescope, stands as a testament to the power of Einstein's vision. Relativity also explains phenomena like gravitational redshift, where light loses energy and shifts to longer wavelengths as it escapes a strong gravitational field, and time dilation in gravitational fields, where clocks run slower closer to massive objects. These effects are not just theoretical curiosities, they have practical implications for technologies we rely on every day. For instance, GPS satellites must account for both special and general relativistic effects to provide accurate location data. Without corrections for time dilation and gravitational redshift, errors would accumulate rapidly, rendering the system useless. Beyond its technological applications, relativity has profound philosophical implications. It challenges our intuitive notions of reality, forcing us to confront the relativity of simultaneity, the idea that events perceived as simultaneous by one observer may not be simultaneous for another. It also raises questions about the nature of causality, free will, and the ultimate fate of the universe. According to general relativity, the cosmos could expand forever, collapse back into a big crunch, or reach some other endpoint, depending on the balance between matter, energy, and dark energy. The influence of Einstein's theories extends far beyond physics. They have inspired generations of scientists, philosophers, and artists, shaping how we think about the universe and our place within it. Science fiction writers in particular have drawn heavily on relativity, exploring themes like time travel, wormholes, and alternate dimensions. Films like Interstellar and novels like A Wrinkle in Time owe much of their speculative richness to Einstein's ideas. Yet, despite its successes, relativity is not the final word on the nature of reality. At very small scales, quantum mechanics governs the behavior of particles, while at large scales, relativity describes the dynamics of spacetime. Reconciling these two pillars of modern physics remains one of the greatest unsolved problems in science. Efforts to develop a unified theory of quantum gravity, such as string theory and loop quantum gravity, aim to bridge this gap, though a complete solution has yet to emerge. As we reflect on Einstein's theory of relativity, let us marvel at its elegance and universality. From the tiniest subatomic particles to the vast expanses of the cosmos, its principles apply across scales and disciplines, connecting seemingly disparate phenomena in ways that few other theories can. It reminds us that the universe is stranger and more beautiful than we might ever imagine, challenging us to keep asking questions and pushing the boundaries of knowledge. Relativity also teaches us humility, reminding us that our perceptions of reality are limited by the constraints of our senses and experiences. What seems obvious or intuitive, like the passage of time or the straightness of light, may turn out to be anything but. By embracing uncertainty and curiosity, we open ourselves to new possibilities and deeper truths. In essence, Einstein's theory of relativity is more than just a set of equations. It's a window into the workings of the universe. It invites us to look beyond appearances, to question assumptions, and to seek connections between the seen and the unseen. Whether through the exploration of black holes, the quest for a theory of everything, or the simple act of gazing at the stars, relativity continues to inspire wonder and awe, reminding us that the journey of discovery is never-ending. Quantum mechanics, Quantum mechanics is one of the most revolutionary and mind-bending fields of science, fundamentally altering our understanding of the universe at its smallest scales. It emerged in the early 20th century as physicists grappled with phenomena that classical physics simply couldn't explain. At the heart of quantum mechanics lies a series of bizarre and counterintuitive principles that challenge our everyday intuitions about reality. From particles behaving like waves to the strange phenomenon of entanglement, quantum mechanics has not only reshaped physics, but also laid the foundation for much of modern technology, from computers to lasers to MRI machines. To understand the significance of quantum mechanics, we need to go back to the late 19th and early 20th centuries, when cracks began to appear in the seemingly unshakable edifice of classical physics. Scientists had long relied on Newtonian mechanics and Maxwell's equations to describe the behavior of objects in electromagnetic waves. However, certain experiments revealed anomalies that defied explanation. One of the earliest puzzles was the nature of light. Was it a wave, as Thomas Young's double-slit experiment suggested, or was it made up of particles, as Max Planck proposed in his groundbreaking work on blackbody radiation? Planck's solution, published in 1900, introduced the idea that energy is quantized, that it comes in discrete packets called quanta. This marked the birth of quantum theory, though its full implications were not immediately apparent. It wasn't until Albert Einstein applied Planck's concept to explain the photoelectric effect in 1905 that the particle-like nature of light gained widespread acceptance. Einstein showed that light could knock electrons out of a material only if its frequency exceeded a certain threshold, regardless of its intensity. This discovery earned him the Nobel Prize in Physics in 1921 and set the stage for the development of quantum mechanics. The next major leap came in the 1920s, thanks to a group of brilliant physicists who expanded upon Planck's and Einstein's ideas. Niels Bohr, Werner Heisenberg, Erwin Schrödinger, and others developed a framework that described the behavior of subatomic particles in ways that were radically different from anything seen before. Central to this framework was the principle of wave-particle duality, which states that particles like electrons and photons exhibit both wave-like and particle-like properties, depending on how they are observed. For example, an electron can behave like a wave, spreading out over space, or like a particle, appearing as a localized point when measured. One of the most famous thought experiments illustrating the strangeness of quantum mechanics is Schrödinger's cat. Proposed by Austrian physicist Erwin Schrödinger in 1935, the scenario imagines a cat placed in a sealed box with a radioactive atom, a Geiger counter, a vial of poison, and a hammer. If the Geiger counter detects radiation, indicating that the atom has decayed, the hammer breaks the vial, releasing the poison and killing the cat. According to quantum mechanics, until the box is opened and the system is observed, the cat exists in a superposition of states, simultaneously alive and dead. While this paradox was meant to highlight the absurdity of applying quantum principles to macroscopic objects, it underscores the fundamental role of observation in determining reality. Another cornerstone of quantum mechanics is Heisenberg's uncertainty principle, formulated by Werner Heisenberg in 1927. This principle states that certain pairs of properties, such as position and momentum, cannot be simultaneously measured with arbitrary precision. The more accurately you know one property, the less accurately you can know the other. This isn't due to limitations in measurement tools. Rather, it reflects the inherent fuzziness of the quantum world. Uncertainty is not a bug. It's a feature of nature itself. Perhaps the most mysterious aspect of quantum mechanics is entanglement, a phenomenon Albert Einstein famously referred to as spooky action at a distance. When two particles become entangled, their properties remain linked no matter how far apart they are. Measuring the state of one particle instantly determines the state of the other, even if they're separated by vast distances. This instantaneous connection seems to violate the speed of light limit imposed by Einstein's theory of relativity, sparking decades of debate and experimentation. In recent years, researchers have used entanglement to develop quantum cryptography and quantum computing, harnessing its peculiar properties for practical applications. Quantum mechanics has also led to profound philosophical questions about the nature of reality. Does the act of observation create reality? Are there hidden variables governing the behavior of particles that we simply haven't discovered yet? Or is the universe inherently probabilistic, governed by chance rather than deterministic laws? These debates continue to rage among physicists and philosophers, reflecting the deep mysteries that still surround quantum theory. Despite, or perhaps because of, its strangeness, quantum mechanics has had an enormous impact on technology and daily life. Transistors, the building blocks of modern electronics, rely on the behavior of semiconductors, which can only be understood through quantum mechanics. Lasers, which amplify light through stimulated emission, operate based on quantum principles. Magnetic resonance imaging, MRI, a vital tool in medicine, exploits the quantum spin of atomic nuclei to produce detailed images of the body's interior. Even the Global Positioning System, GPS, depends on quantum corrections to account for relativistic effects in satellite signals. Looking ahead, quantum mechanics promises to drive further innovations in fields like computing and communication. Quantum computers, which leverage the principles of superposition and entanglement, have the potential to solve problems far beyond the reach of classical computers. For instance, they could revolutionize drug discovery by simulating molecular interactions at unprecedented speeds, or break current encryption methods, while enabling new forms of secure communication. Researchers are also exploring quantum teleportation, a process that transfers quantum information between particles without physically moving them, a concept straight out of science fiction. Yet for all its successes, quantum mechanics remains incomplete. It doesn't account for gravity, leaving a gap between it and general relativity. Efforts to develop a unified theory of quantum gravity, such as string theory and loop quantum gravity, aim to bridge this divide, though a definitive solution has yet to emerge. Additionally, interpreting the meaning of quantum mechanics continues to spark debate. The Copenhagen interpretation, which emphasizes the role of observation in collapsing wave functions, remains the most widely accepted view, but alternative interpretations like the many worlds hypothesis propose equally intriguing possibilities. As we reflect on the legacy of quantum mechanics, let us marvel at its ability to reveal the hidden workings of the universe. It reminds us that reality is far stranger and more complex than our senses suggest. Particles can exist in multiple places at once, influence each other across vast distances, and behave unpredictably until observed. These discoveries challenge us to rethink what we mean by reality and encourage us to embrace uncertainty as a fundamental aspect of existence. Quantum mechanics also invites us to consider the interconnectedness of all things. Entanglement shows that particles separated by great distances can still affect one another instantaneously, hinting at a deeper unity underlying the cosmos. Similarly, the probabilistic nature of quantum events suggests that randomness and creativity are woven into the fabric of the universe, offering endless possibilities for exploration and discovery. In essence, quantum mechanics is more than just a scientific theory. It's a lens through which we view the world. It challenges us to question assumptions, embrace ambiguity, and seek connections between the seen and the unseen. Whether through the development of new technologies, the pursuit of a unified theory, or the simple act of pondering the mysteries of the quantum realm, this field continues to inspire wonder and curiosity, reminding us that the journey of understanding is never-ending. The Higgs boson particle. The discovery of the Higgs boson particle in 2012 stands as one of the most monumental achievements in modern physics, offering a glimpse into the fundamental forces that shape the universe. Often referred to as the God particle, a nickname that has sparked both fascination and controversy, the Higgs boson explains why particles have mass, filling a critical gap in the standard model of particle physics. Its detection not only validated decades of theoretical work, but also deepened our understanding of the cosmos, shedding light on the invisible mechanisms that govern reality. To fully grasp the significance of the Higgs boson, we need to step back and explore the framework it completes. The Standard Model. This model describes the building blocks of matter and the forces that act upon them, encompassing particles like quarks, leptons, and bosons, as well as the electromagnetic, weak nuclear, and strong nuclear forces. However, one glaring question remained unanswered. Why do some particles have mass while others, like photons, remain massless? Without mass, the universe as we know it would be unrecognizable. No atoms, no stars, no planets, and certainly no life. Enter the Higgs mechanism, proposed in the 1960s by physicist Peter Higgs and several other scientists working independently. According to this theory, an invisible field permeates the entire universe, interacting with particles to give them mass. Particles that interact strongly with this field acquire more mass, while those that interact weakly or not at all remain lightweight or massless. The Higgs field, as it came to be known, was a bold idea, but proving its existence required detecting its associated particle, the Higgs boson, a task that would take nearly half a century and the most sophisticated scientific apparatus ever built. The search for the Higgs boson culminated at CERN, the European Organization for Nuclear Research, home to the Large Hadron Collider. The Large Hadron Collider is a marvel of engineering, a 27-kilometer ring buried beneath the border of France and Switzerland. Inside this massive machine, protons are accelerated to nearly the speed of light and smashed together in head-on collisions. These high-energy impacts recreate conditions similar to those just moments after the Big Bang, producing showers of particles that physicists analyze to uncover the secrets of the universe. Detecting the Higgs boson was no small feat. It's an incredibly rare and short-lived particle, decaying almost instantly into other particles before it can be directly observed. To identify it, scientists had to sift through billions of collision events, looking for patterns consistent with the Higgs boson's predicted behavior. Two major experiments at the LHC, ATLAS and CMS, worked independently to ensure accuracy, each employing thousands of researchers and state-of-the-art detectors. After years of painstaking analysis, both teams announced on the 4th of July 2012 that they had found compelling evidence of a new particle matching the Higgs boson's properties. The announcement sent shockwaves through the scientific community and captured the world's imagination. The implications of this discovery are profound. The Higgs boson confirms the existence of the Higgs field, providing a concrete explanation for why particles and, by extension, everything in the universe have mass. Without this field, the universe would be a chaotic sea of massless particles zipping around at light speed, incapable of forming stable structures. The Higgs mechanism essentially acts as the glue holding the cosmos together, enabling the formation of atoms, molecules, galaxies, and ultimately, life itself. Beyond its role in explaining mass, the Higgs boson also opens new avenues for exploration. For instance, its properties could offer clues about the nature of dark matter, the mysterious substance thought to make up roughly 27% of the universe. While dark matter doesn't interact with light or ordinary matter, it may have subtle connections to the Higgs field, leaving traces that future experiments could detect. Additionally, studying the Higgs boson might help resolve discrepancies between the standard model and observations of the universe, such as the accelerating expansion driven by dark energy. These mysteries hint at physics beyond the standard model, potentially involving supersymmetry, extra dimensions, or entirely new forces. The discovery of the Higgs boson also highlights the power of collaboration in science. Thousands of researchers from over 100 countries contributed to the effort, pooling their expertise and resources to achieve a common goal. The LHC itself is a testament to human ingenuity, requiring breakthroughs in fields ranging from superconducting magnets to data processing algorithms. Each collision generates an enormous amount of information, up to 1 petabyte per second, which must be filtered, stored, and analyzed using cutting-edge computing techniques. This global endeavor underscores the importance of international cooperation in tackling humanity's biggest questions. Yet, the story of the Higgs boson is far from over. While its discovery confirmed key aspects of the standard model, it also raised new questions. For example, why does the Higgs boson have the specific mass it does? Why is the Higgs field so finely tuned, avoiding instability that could collapse the universe? And what lies beyond the standard model? These unanswered questions drive ongoing research at the LHC and other facilities, pushing the boundaries of what we know about the universe. The Higgs boson also invites us to reflect on the nature of scientific progress. Its detection wasn't the end of a journey, but rather the beginning of a new chapter in our quest to understand reality. Science thrives on curiosity, building on past discoveries to explore unknown frontiers. Just as the Higgs boson completed one puzzle, it revealed countless others waiting to be solved. This iterative process reminds us that knowledge is never static. It evolves as we develop better tools, ask deeper questions, and challenge existing paradigms. On a philosophical level, the Higgs boson challenges us to think about the unseen forces that shape our lives. We often take the physical world for granted, assuming that objects simply exist in a straightforward way. But the Higgs field reveals a hidden layer of reality, quietly influencing everything around us without being directly observable. It's a humbling reminder that much of the universe operates beyond the reach of our senses, accessible only through careful observation and rigorous reasoning. The Higgs boson also serves as a bridge between the infinitesimally small and the unimaginably vast. By explaining how particles acquire mass, it connects the subatomic realm to the large-scale structure of the universe. Galaxies, stars, and planets owe their existence to the same fundamental processes that govern the tiniest particles. This interconnectedness speaks to the elegance and unity of nature, suggesting that even the most disparate phenomena share common roots. Looking ahead, the study of the Higgs boson will continue to shape the future of physics. Upgrades to the LHC and plans for next-generation colliders aim to probe its properties with greater precision, searching for anomalies that could point to new physics. Meanwhile, theoretical physicists are exploring ways to integrate the Higgs mechanism into broader frameworks, such as string theory or quantum gravity, which seek to unify all fundamental forces. These efforts may one day lead to a theory of everything, a comprehensive description of the universe that reconciles quantum mechanics and general relativity. Ultimately, the Higgs boson is more than just a particle. It's a symbol of humanity's relentless pursuit of knowledge. It represents the culmination of centuries of inquiry, from ancient philosophers pondering the nature of matter to modern scientists unraveling the fabric of reality. It reminds us that even the most abstract concepts have tangible consequences, shaping the world in ways we're only beginning to comprehend. As you contemplate the Higgs boson, consider the profound interplay between the visible and the invisible, the known and the unknown. It's a reminder that the universe is far richer and more intricate than we might ever imagine, inviting us to keep asking questions and seeking answers. Whether through the lens of particle physics, cosmology, or philosophy, the Higgs boson continues to inspire awe and wonder, fueling our collective desire to understand the cosmos and our place within it. CRISPR gene editing. The discovery and development of CRISPR gene editing has revolutionized biology, offering humanity unprecedented control over the genetic code that governs life. Short for clustered regularly interspaced short palindromic repeats, CRISPR is a powerful tool that allows scientists to precisely alter DNA sequences, opening the door to curing genetic diseases, improving agriculture, and even addressing environmental challenges. What began as a curious observation in the immune systems of bacteria has evolved into one of the most transformative technologies of the 21st century, reshaping how we think about genetics, ethics, and the future of life itself. To understand the significance of CRISPR, we need to trace its origins back to the natural world. In the late 1980s and early 1990s, researchers studying bacteria noticed unusual repeating sequences in their DNA. These sequences, later named CRISPR, were interspersed with fragments of viral DNA. Scientists eventually realized that these patterns were part of an ancient bacterial immune system. When a virus infects a bacterium, the bacterium captures snippets of the virus's genetic material and incorporates them into its own genome as a kind of molecular memory. If the same virus attacks again, the bacterium uses this stored information, along with a protein called Cas9, to recognize and cut the viral DNA, neutralizing the threat. This natural mechanism inspired scientists to adapt it for use in other organisms. By reprogramming the CRISPR-Cas9 system, researchers could target specific sequences of DNA in virtually any living cell. The process works like a pair of molecular scissors, A guide RNA directs the Cas9 enzyme to a precise location in the genome, where it makes a cut. Once the DNA is broken, the cell's natural repair mechanisms kick in, allowing scientists to either disable a gene, correct a mutation, or insert new genetic material. This level of precision was previously unimaginable, making CRISPR faster, cheaper, and more accurate than earlier gene editing techniques, like zinc finger nucleases or TALENs. The potential applications of CRISPR are vast and varied. In medicine, it holds the promise of curing genetic disorders that have plagued humanity for generations. Diseases caused by single-gene mutations, such as sickle cell anemia, cystic fibrosis, and Huntington's disease, could potentially be eradicated through targeted edits to a patient's DNA. Clinical trials are already underway to test CRISPR-based therapies for conditions like cancer and inherited blindness. Beyond treating existing diseases, CRISPR could also prevent them altogether. For example, editing the genomes of embryos, though ethically controversial, could eliminate hereditary conditions before they manifest, ensuring healthier futures for generations to come. CRISPR is also transforming agriculture, addressing some of the biggest challenges facing food production in a changing climate. By editing the genes of crops, scientists can create varieties that are more resistant to pests, droughts, and extreme weather. These genetically modified organisms, GMOs, could help reduce hunger and malnutrition in regions vulnerable to food insecurity. Moreover, CRISPR-edited crops often bypass the stigma associated with traditional GMOs because they don't involve introducing foreign DNA. Instead, they tweak existing genes, making them more palatable to consumers and regulators alike. In addition to its practical applications, CRISPR raises profound ethical questions that society must grapple with. One of the most contentious issues is germline editing, the modification of sperm, eggs, or embryos. Changes made at this stage would be passed down to future generations, permanently altering the human gene pool. While this could eradicate devastating diseases, it also opens the door to designer babies, where parents might select traits like intelligence, athleticism, or appearance. Such possibilities evoke fears of eugenics and exacerbate inequalities, as access to these technologies could be limited to the wealthy. Another concern is the potential for unintended consequences. Even with its remarkable precision, CRISPR isn't perfect. Off-target edits where the system mistakenly cuts DNA at the wrong location can introduce harmful mutations. Additionally, ecosystems could be disrupted if gene-edited organisms are released into the wild. For instance, scientists are exploring the use of CRISPR to combat malaria by engineering mosquitoes that resist the parasite or produce infertile offspring. While this could save millions of lives, it might also upset ecological balances in unpredictable ways. Despite these challenges, CRISPR continues to inspire hope and innovation. Researchers are refining the technology to make it safer and more efficient. Variants of the Cas9 enzyme, such as Cas12 and Cas13, offer greater versatility, enabling edits in RNA as well as DNA. Base editing and prime editing, newer iterations of CRISPR, allow for even finer control, reducing the risk of off-target effects. These advancements bring us closer to realizing the full potential of gene editing, while minimizing its risks. The story of CRISPR also highlights the importance of collaboration and serendipity in scientific discovery. Its development was driven by researchers from diverse fields working together across continents. Jennifer Doudna and Emmanuelle Charpentier, who won the Nobel Prize in Chemistry in 2020 for their pioneering work on CRISPR-Cas9, built on insights from microbiologists, biochemists, and computational biologists. Their breakthrough exemplifies how curiosity-driven research can lead to transformative applications, often in ways that weren't initially anticipated. Looking ahead, CRISPR will undoubtedly play a central role in shaping the future of science and society. It could accelerate efforts to combat climate change by engineering plants that capture more carbon dioxide or microbes that break down plastic waste. It might help preserve endangered species by restoring lost genetic diversity or creating resistance to emerging threats. And it could redefine what it means to be human, challenging us to reconsider our relationship with nature and ourselves. Yet, as we embrace the possibilities of CRISPR, we must also approach it with caution and humility. The power to rewrite the code of life comes with immense responsibility. Decisions about how and when to use this technology should involve not just scientists but also ethicists, policymakers, and the public. Open dialogue and transparent regulation will be essential to ensure that CRISPR benefits everyone rather than widening existing divides. Reflecting on CRISPR, it's clear that this tool represents more than just a scientific breakthrough. It embodies the dual-edged nature of progress. On one hand, it offers solutions to some of humanity's most pressing problems, from disease to food security to environmental sustainability. On the other hand, it forces us to confront difficult questions about identity, equity, and the limits of human intervention in nature. Balancing these opportunities and risks will require wisdom, foresight, and a commitment to the common good. Ultimately, CRISPR reminds us of the incredible complexity and fragility of life. It reveals the intricate dance of molecules that underpins every living thing, from the simplest bacterium to the most complex organism. At the same time, it underscores the interconnectedness of all life, showing how discoveries in one corner of the biological world can ripple outward, touching countless others. Whether used to heal, innovate, or explore, CRISPR invites us to imagine new possibilities while remaining mindful of the consequences. As you consider the impact of CRISPR, take a moment to appreciate the convergence of curiosity, creativity, and collaboration that brought it into existence. From the humble beginnings of bacterial immunity to the cutting-edge laboratories of today, this technology exemplifies the boundless potential of human ingenuity. It challenges us to dream boldly while acting responsibly, reminding us that the choices we make today will shape the world of tomorrow. The Internet. The Internet is one of humanity's most transformative inventions, reshaping how we communicate, learn, work, and interact with the world. What began as a modest experiment in computer networking has grown into a global phenomenon that connects billions of people, devices, and systems across continents. It has democratized access to information, fostered collaboration on an unprecedented scale, and redefined nearly every aspect of modern life. Yet, despite its ubiquity today, the Internet's origins are rooted in a series of humble beginnings, driven by curiosity, necessity, and a vision for a more connected world. To understand the significance of the Internet, we need to go back to the mid-20th century, when computers were large, isolated machines used primarily by governments, universities, and corporations. These early computers were expensive, difficult to operate, and incapable of communicating with one another. Sharing data between them required physically transporting magnetic tapes or punch cards, a slow and cumbersome process. Recognizing the inefficiency of this approach, researchers began exploring ways to link computers together, enabling them to exchange information electronically. The seeds of the Internet were planted in the 1960s, during the height of the Cold War. Fearing that centralized communication networks could be vulnerable to attack, the U.S. Department of Defense sought to create a decentralized system that could withstand disruptions. This led to the development of ARPANET, Advanced Research Projects Agency Network, the precursor to the modern Internet. Funded by the Defense Advanced Research Projects Agency, DARPA, ARPANET aimed to connect computers at research institutions, allowing scientists to share resources and collaborate remotely. In 1969, ARPANET achieved its first successful message transmission between two nodes, one at UCLA and another at Stanford University. The message was supposed to spell login, but the system crashed after sending just the first two letters, L-O. Despite this hiccup, the experiment proved that packet switching, a method of breaking data into small chunks, transmitting them independently, and reassembling them at their destination, could work reliably. This innovation became the foundation of modern networking, enabling efficient and robust communication over long distances. As ARPANET expanded, it inspired other networks to emerge, each serving different purposes and communities. By the 1970s, protocols like TCP/IP, Transmission Control Protocol, Internet Protocol, were developed to standardize communication between these disparate systems. TCP/IP allowed networks to interconnect seamlessly, creating a unified network of networks that we now call the Internet. In 1983, ARPANET officially adopted TCP/IP, marking a pivotal moment in the Internet's evolution. From then on, the Internet grew rapidly, fueled by advances in hardware, software, and telecommunications infrastructure. The 1990s marked the dawn of the World Wide Web, which transformed the Internet from a niche tool for academics and engineers into a platform accessible to the general public. British computer scientist Tim Berners-Lee is credited with inventing the web in 1989 while working at CERN, the European Organization for Nuclear Research. His goal was to create a system that would make it easier for researchers to share documents and data. He proposed a framework based on three key components: HTML, hypertext markup language, for formatting web pages; HTTP, hypertext transfer protocol, for retrieving them; and URLs, uniform resource locators, for identifying them. Berners-Lee's invention took off in the mid-1990s, thanks to the proliferation of web browsers like Mosaic and Netscape Navigator. These tools provided user-friendly interfaces that made navigating the web intuitive and visually appealing. Suddenly, anyone with a computer and an internet connection could browse websites, send emails, and participate in online forums. The web's accessibility sparked a digital revolution, giving rise to e-commerce, social media, streaming services, and countless other innovations that have become integral to daily life. The impact of the Internet extends far beyond convenience and entertainment. It has revolutionized industries, disrupted traditional business models, and empowered individuals to pursue opportunities once out of reach. For example, online education platforms have made learning accessible to people around the globe, regardless of their location or socioeconomic status. Telemedicine has expanded healthcare access in remote areas, while crowdfunding has enabled entrepreneurs and artists to bring their ideas to life without relying on traditional gatekeepers. The Internet has also played a crucial role in activism and social movements, providing a platform for marginalized voices to be heard and mobilizing communities to drive change. However, the Internet's rapid growth has not been without challenges. Issues like misinformation, cybercrime, and privacy violations have raised concerns about the darker side of connectivity. Social media algorithms designed to maximize engagement often amplify divisive content, contributing to polarization and eroding trust in institutions. Meanwhile, hackers exploit vulnerabilities in digital systems to steal sensitive information, disrupt services, and sow chaos. Governments and tech companies face mounting pressure to address these problems while balancing freedom of expression and innovation. Another pressing concern is the digital divide, the gap between those who have access to the Internet and those who do not. While billions of people enjoy the benefits of connectivity, many others remain offline due to factors like cost, infrastructure limitations, and lack of digital literacy. Bridging this divide is essential to ensuring that the Internet fulfills its potential as a force for equity and empowerment. Initiatives like low-cost smartphones, satellite-based Internet, and community Wi-Fi projects aim to expand access, but significant barriers remain. Despite these challenges, the Internet continues to evolve, offering new possibilities for the future. Emerging technologies like artificial intelligence, blockchain, and quantum computing promise to enhance its capabilities while addressing some of its shortcomings. AI-driven tools can help combat misinformation by detecting fake news and deepfakes, while blockchain offers a decentralized alternative to traditional data storage and transactions. Quantum networks, though still in their infancy, could enable ultra-secure communication, protecting against even the most sophisticated cyber attacks. The Internet also holds immense potential for tackling global challenges. For instance, it can facilitate international cooperation on climate change by enabling real-time monitoring of environmental data and fostering collaboration among scientists, policymakers, and activists. It can support disaster response efforts by providing timely updates and coordinating relief operations. And it can promote cultural exchange by connecting people from diverse backgrounds, fostering empathy and understanding across borders. Reflecting on the Internet's journey, It's remarkable how far we've come in such a short time. What started as a military project to ensure resilient communication has blossomed into a global network that touches nearly every facet of human existence. It has transformed how we access knowledge, form relationships, and express ourselves, creating opportunities that were unimaginable just a few decades ago. At the same time, it challenges us to confront complex ethical, legal, and societal questions, reminding us that technology is neither inherently good nor bad. It's a reflection of how we choose to use it. The Internet invites us to think critically about the kind of world we want to build. Will we harness its power to bridge divides, solve problems, and uplift humanity? Or will we allow it to exacerbate inequalities, spread harm, and undermine trust? These are not easy questions, but they are ones we must grapple with collectively. The choices we make today will shape the trajectory of the Internet, and by extension, our shared future for generations to come. Ultimately, the Internet is more than just a technological achievement. It's a testament to human creativity, resilience, and aspiration. It embodies our desire to connect, to explore, and to push the boundaries of what's possible. Whether through the exchange of ideas, the sharing of stories, or the pursuit of solutions to pressing challenges, the Internet reflects the best and worst of who we are. As we navigate its complexities, let us strive to wield this powerful tool wisely, guided by principles of inclusivity, responsibility, and compassion. As you reflect on the Internet's profound impact, consider the countless ways it shapes your own life. From the emails you send to the videos you watch, from the articles you read to the conversations you have, the Internet is woven into the fabric of your daily experience. It's a reminder of how interconnected we all are, not just digitally, but as members of a global community. Whether you're browsing, creating, or collaborating, you're part of a vast, ever-evolving tapestry of human ingenuity and imagination. Climate science and global warming. Climate science and the study of global warming represent one of the most urgent and consequential areas of research in human history. For decades, scientists have been sounding the alarm about the rapid changes occurring in Earth's climate system, driven primarily by human activities. These changes are not just abstract concepts confined to academic journals. They are reshaping the planet in profound ways, affecting ecosystems, economies, and lives across the globe. Understanding the science behind climate change is essential if we hope to address its causes and mitigate its impacts, ensuring a livable future for generations to come. To fully grasp the significance of climate science, we need to start with the basics of how Earth's climate works. The planet's temperature is regulated by a delicate balance between incoming energy from the sun and outgoing heat radiated back into space. Greenhouse gases like carbon dioxide, CO2, methane, CH4, and nitrous oxide, N2O, play a critical role in this process. They trap some of the outgoing heat, creating a natural greenhouse effect that keeps Earth warm enough to support life. Without these gases, the planet would be a frozen wasteland, averaging temperatures well below freezing. However, since the Industrial Revolution, human activities have dramatically increased the concentration of greenhouse gases in the atmosphere. Burning fossil fuels like coal, oil, and natural gas releases vast amounts of CO2, while agriculture, landfills, and industrial processes contribute significant quantities of methane and other potent greenhouse gases. Deforestation exacerbates the problem by reducing the number of trees that can absorb CO2 from the atmosphere. As a result, the natural greenhouse effect has intensified, causing global temperatures to rise at an unprecedented rate. The evidence for global warming is overwhelming and comes from multiple lines of inquiry. Temperature records show that the Earth's average surface temperature has risen by approximately 1.1 degrees Celsius, 2 degrees Fahrenheit, since the late 19th century, with much of the warming occurring in the past few decades. This may sound like a small change, but even slight increases in global temperatures can have cascading effects on weather patterns, sea levels, and ecosystems. Glaciers and ice sheets are melting at alarming rates, contributing to rising sea levels that threaten coastal communities worldwide. Extreme weather events, such as hurricanes, heat waves, droughts, and heavy rainfall, are becoming more frequent and severe, displacing millions of people and causing billions of dollars in damage each year. One of the most visible indicators of climate change is the shrinking of polar ice caps and glaciers. Satellite observations reveal that Arctic sea ice is declining at a rate of about 13% per decade, with summer ice cover reaching record lows in recent years. This loss of reflective ice accelerates warming because darker ocean water absorbs more sunlight than white ice, creating a feedback loop known as the albedo effect. Similarly, Greenland and Antarctica are losing ice mass at accelerating rates, contributing to higher sea levels that imperil low-lying regions like Bangladesh, Florida, and small island nations. Rising sea levels are already having devastating consequences. Coastal cities face increased flooding during storms, and saltwater intrusion is contaminating freshwater supplies and damaging agricultural lands. In places like the Maldives and Kiribati, entire nations risk being submerged within the next century if current trends continue. Meanwhile, inland areas are grappling with their own challenges. Prolonged droughts are straining water resources, while wildfires fueled by hotter, drier conditions are destroying forests and homes. Ecosystems are struggling to adapt, with many species facing extinction as habitats shift or disappear altogether. The human toll of climate change is equally staggering. Millions of people are being displaced by environmental disasters, creating a growing population of climate refugees. Food security is under threat as changing weather patterns disrupt crop yields and livestock production. Heat-related illnesses and deaths are on the rise, particularly among vulnerable populations like the elderly and those living in urban heat islands. And the economic costs of climate change are mounting, with estimates suggesting trillions of dollars in damages by the end of the century if no action is taken. Despite the grim outlook, there is reason for hope. Scientists have identified clear pathways to reduce greenhouse gas emissions and limit global warming to manageable levels. Transitioning to renewable energy sources like solar, wind, and hydropower can significantly cut CO2 emissions from electricity generation. Improving energy efficiency in buildings, transportation, and industry can further reduce demand for fossil fuels. Reforestation and sustainable land management practices can enhance carbon sequestration, while innovations in carbon capture and storage technologies offer potential solutions for hard-to-decarbonize sectors. Governments, businesses, and individuals all have roles to play in addressing climate change. International agreements like the Paris Agreement aim to unite countries in the fight against global warming by setting targets to limit temperature increases to well below 2 degrees Celsius above pre-industrial levels, with efforts to stay below 1.5 degrees. While progress has been uneven, momentum is building as more nations commit to net zero emissions goals and invest in green infrastructure. Corporations are increasingly adopting sustainable practices, driven by consumer demand and regulatory pressures. And grassroots movements led by young activists like Greta Thunberg are raising awareness and holding leaders accountable. Yet solving the climate crisis requires more than technological fixes and policy changes. It demands a fundamental shift in how we think about our relationship with the planet. For too long, humanity has treated Earth's resources as infinite and its capacity to absorb waste as limitless. This mindset has led to overconsumption, pollution, and environmental degradation on a massive scale. To create a sustainable future, we must embrace principles of stewardship, equity, and resilience. This means valuing nature, not just for its utility, but for its intrinsic worth, recognizing the interconnectedness of all living things, and prioritizing the needs of marginalized communities disproportionately affected by climate change. Education and innovation will also be key to navigating the challenges ahead. By fostering scientific literacy and critical thinking, we can empower people to make informed decisions about energy use, consumption habits, and advocacy efforts. Advances in clean technology, circular economies, and regenerative agriculture hold promise for reducing humanity's ecological footprint while improving quality of life. Collaboration across disciplines, cultures, and borders will be essential to developing holistic solutions that address both the symptoms and root causes of climate change. Reflecting on the state of climate science, it's impossible not to feel a mix of urgency and determination. The stakes could not be higher, but neither could the opportunities. Addressing climate change presents a chance to reimagine how we live, work, and interact with the world. It calls on us to harness our creativity, ingenuity, and collective will to build a future that is fairer, greener, and more resilient. Whether through policy reforms, technological breakthroughs, or grassroots activism, every action counts in the fight to protect our shared home. As you consider the implications of climate science, take a moment to reflect on your own role in shaping the future. Every choice you make, from the food you eat to the way you travel to the products you buy, has an impact on the planet. Small actions, when multiplied across billions of people, can add up to meaningful change. Supporting policies and leaders committed to sustainability, advocating for systemic reforms, and educating others about the importance of climate action are all ways to contribute to the solution. Together, we have the power to rewrite the story of our planet, choosing a path of renewal over ruin. Ultimately, climate science reminds us of the fragility and resilience of life on Earth. It underscores the interconnectedness of all systems, natural and human, and highlights the responsibility we bear as stewards of this remarkable planet. Whether through the lens of science, ethics, or imagination, the study of climate change invites us to confront difficult truths while inspiring us to dream of a better tomorrow. As we move forward, let us carry with us a sense of purpose, grounded in the knowledge that what we do today will shape the world of tomorrow. Artificial intelligence. Artificial intelligence, AI, stands as one of the most transformative technologies of our time, reshaping industries, redefining human capabilities, and challenging our understanding of what it means to think, learn, and create. From self-driving cars to virtual assistants, AI has permeated nearly every aspect of modern life, offering solutions to some of humanity's most complex problems while raising profound ethical and philosophical questions. Its rapid evolution over the past few decades has been nothing short of extraordinary, driven by advances in computing power, data availability, and algorithmic innovation. To truly appreciate the significance of AI, we need to start with its origins. The concept of artificial intelligence dates back to ancient myths and stories about mechanical beings endowed with human-like qualities. However, the formal study of AI began in the mid-20th century, when scientists started exploring whether machines could mimic human thought processes. In 1956, a group of researchers gathered at Dartmouth College for a workshop that many consider the birthplace of AI as a field. They envisioned creating machines capable of reasoning, problem-solving, and learning, tasks once thought to be uniquely human. Early efforts in AI focused on symbolic reasoning, where programmers manually encoded rules and logic into machines to perform specific tasks. These systems, often referred to as expert systems, showed promise in areas like medical diagnosis and chess playing, but were limited by their inability to adapt or learn from experience. Progress was slow, and by the 1970s, enthusiasm waned due to unmet expectations, a period known as the AI winter. Funding dried up, and skepticism grew about whether machines could ever achieve true intelligence. The tide turned in the 1980s and 1990s with the rise of machine learning, a subfield of AI focused on enabling computers to learn from data rather than relying solely on pre-programmed instructions. This shift was made possible by breakthroughs in algorithms, particularly neural networks, which are loosely inspired by the structure of the human brain. Neural networks consist of layers of interconnected nodes that process information and adjust their connections based on feedback, allowing them to improve performance over time. However, early neural networks were constrained by limited computational resources and insufficient data, preventing widespread adoption. The real breakthrough came in the 21st century, fueled by three key factors: massive datasets, powerful hardware, and sophisticated algorithms. The proliferation of the internet and digital technologies generated vast amounts of data, providing the raw material needed to train AI models. At the same time, advancements in graphics processing units, GPUs, and specialized chips like tensor processing units, TPUs, enabled faster and more efficient computation. Finally, innovations in deep learning, a subset of machine learning that uses multi-layered neural networks, unlock new possibilities for solving complex problems. Today, AI powers countless applications that we often take for granted. Virtual assistants like Siri, Alexa, and Google Assistant use natural language processing to understand and respond to voice commands. Recommendation systems on platforms like Netflix, Spotify, and Amazon analyze user behavior to suggest personalized content. Autonomous vehicles rely on AI to navigate roads, interpret traffic signals, and avoid obstacles. In healthcare, AI algorithms assist doctors in diagnosing diseases, predicting patient outcomes, and designing treatment plans. Even creative fields like art, music, and writing have seen the influence of AI, with tools generating paintings, composing symphonies, and drafting articles. Yet, for all its achievements, AI also raises significant concerns. One of the most pressing issues is bias. Because AI systems learn from historical data, they can perpetuate and even amplify existing prejudices if that data reflects societal inequalities. For example, facial recognition software has been shown to perform poorly on people with darker skin tones, leading to discriminatory outcomes in law enforcement and hiring processes. Addressing these biases requires careful curation of training data, transparency in algorithm design, and ongoing monitoring of system outputs. Another major concern is job displacement. As AI automates routine tasks across industries, millions of workers face the risk of unemployment or underemployment. Jobs in manufacturing, transportation, and customer service are particularly vulnerable, though white-collar professions like law and accounting are not immune. While AI creates new opportunities in fields like AI development, data analysis, and robotics maintenance, ensuring a just transition for displaced workers remains a formidable challenge. Governments, businesses, and educational institutions must collaborate to provide reskilling programs, social safety nets, and lifelong learning initiatives. Privacy is another critical issue in the age of AI. Many AI systems rely on vast amounts of personal data to function effectively, raising questions about consent, surveillance, and data security. For instance, smart home devices listen to conversations to provide convenience, but also pose risks of unauthorized access or misuse. Striking a balance between innovation and individual rights requires robust regulations, ethical guidelines, and public awareness campaigns. Initiatives like the European Union's General Data Protection Regulation, GDPR, aim to protect users' privacy, but enforcement remains inconsistent globally. Perhaps the most existential question surrounding AI is its potential to surpass human intelligence, a scenario often referred to as artificial general intelligence, AGI. Unlike narrow AI, which excels at specific tasks, AGI would possess the ability to reason, plan, and solve problems across diverse domains, much like a human being. While AGI remains speculative, its hypothetical arrival raises profound ethical dilemmas. Would such a system act in humanity's best interests? How would we ensure alignment between its goals and ours? And who would be responsible for its actions? These questions underscore the importance of proactive governance and interdisciplinary dialogue. Despite these challenges, AI holds immense promise for addressing some of the world's most pressing issues. In healthcare, AI-powered diagnostics can detect diseases earlier and more accurately than traditional methods, improving patient outcomes and reducing costs. In agriculture, AI-driven precision farming optimizes resource use, increasing crop yields while minimizing environmental impact. In education, adaptive learning platforms tailor instruction to individual students' needs, fostering engagement and mastery. And in disaster response, AI analyzes satellite imagery and sensor data to predict and mitigate the effects of natural calamities. Looking ahead, the future of AI will likely be shaped by continued advances in technology and a growing emphasis on ethics and accountability. Researchers are exploring ways to make AI more transparent, interpretable, and trustworthy, enabling users to understand how decisions are made. Explainable AI (XAI) seeks to demystify the black box nature of many current systems, building confidence among stakeholders. Meanwhile, Collaborative AI aims to enhance human capabilities rather than replace them, fostering partnerships between humans and machines. Education will play a pivotal role in preparing society for an AI-driven future. Teaching critical thinking, creativity, and emotional intelligence will help individuals thrive in roles that require uniquely human skills. Promoting STEM, science, technology, engineering, and mathematics, education, particularly among underrepresented groups, will ensure a diverse pipeline of talent in AI development. Public discourse about AI's benefits and risks will foster informed decision-making and encourage responsible innovation. Reflecting on AI's journey so far, it's clear that this technology embodies both incredible opportunity and daunting responsibility. It challenges us to rethink what it means to be intelligent, productive, and compassionate in a rapidly changing world. Whether used to tackle global challenges, enhance human creativity, or push the boundaries of knowledge, AI invites us to imagine new possibilities while remaining mindful of its consequences. Ultimately, AI is more than just a tool. It's a mirror reflecting humanity's aspirations, fears, and values. It amplifies our strengths and exposes our weaknesses, forcing us to confront uncomfortable truths about ourselves and our societies. As we navigate its complexities, let us strive to wield this powerful technology wisely, guided by principles of equity, sustainability, and empathy. By doing so, we can harness AI's potential to build a future that uplifts everyone, rather than widening existing divides. As you contemplate the impact of AI, consider the countless ways it already shapes your daily life. From the recommendations you receive online to the navigation apps guiding your travels, AI is woven into the fabric of modern existence. It's a reminder of how interconnected we are, not just with technology but with one another. Whether you're using AI to solve problems, express ideas, or connect with others, you're part of a global community grappling with the same questions and opportunities. Together, we have the power to shape the trajectory of AI, choosing a path of collaboration over conflict, innovation over stagnation, and hope over fear. Plate tectonics. Plate tectonics is one of the most fundamental theories in Earth science, explaining the dynamic processes that shape our planet's surface. It provides a unifying framework for understanding earthquakes, volcanic activity, mountain formation, and even the distribution of continents and oceans. Before the acceptance of plate tectonics, these phenomena were seen as isolated events, but this revolutionary theory revealed that they are all interconnected, driven by the slow but powerful movement of Earth's lithosphere, the rigid outer layer that includes the crust and uppermost mantle. The discovery of plate tectonics not only transformed geology, but also deepened our appreciation for the restless, ever-changing nature of the planet we call home. To fully grasp the significance of plate tectonics, we need to step back and explore how this theory came to be. For centuries, scientists puzzled over the origins of mountains, the locations of volcanoes, and the causes of earthquakes. Early explanations often relied on static models of Earth's structure, assuming that the planet's surface was fixed and unchanging. However, cracks began to appear in this worldview in the early 20th century, thanks to a bold hypothesis proposed by German meteorologist Alfred Wegener. In 1912, Wegener introduced the idea of continental drift, suggesting that continents were once joined together in a supercontinent he called Pangaea, and had since drifted apart. He based his argument on several lines of evidence, including the jigsaw-like fit of continental coastlines, similarities in fossil records across widely separated regions, and matching geological formations on different continents. Despite the compelling nature of his observations, Wegener's theory faced fierce resistance from the scientific community. Critics argued that he couldn't explain the mechanism driving the movement of continents, leaving his ideas largely dismissed until decades later. The turning point came in the mid-20th century, with advances in oceanography and seismology. During World War II, sonar technology developed for submarine warfare allowed scientists to map the seafloor in unprecedented detail. These surveys revealed a striking feature: a massive underwater mountain range running through the middle of the Atlantic Ocean, known as the Mid-Atlantic Ridge. Further investigation showed that similar ridges existed in other oceans, forming a global network of divergent boundaries where new crust was being created. At these mid-ocean ridges, magma rises from the mantle, solidifies into basalt, and pushes older crust outward in a process called seafloor spreading. This discovery provided the missing piece of the puzzle for Wegener's continental drift hypothesis. If new crust was constantly forming at mid-ocean ridges, it meant that older crust must be disappearing somewhere else. Sure enough, researchers found deep trenches along the edges of oceans, where crust was being subducted or forced back into the mantle, at convergent boundaries. This cycle of creation and destruction became the cornerstone of plate tectonics. By the 1960s, the theory of plate tectonics had taken shape, describing Earth's lithosphere as divided into a dozen or so large plates and several smaller ones. These plates float atop the semi-fluid asthenosphere, a layer of the mantle beneath the lithosphere, and move due to forces like mantle convection, slab pull, and ridge push. The interactions between plates give rise to a variety of geological phenomena. At divergent boundaries, plates move apart, creating features like mid-ocean ridges and rift valleys. At convergent boundaries, plates collide, leading to the formation of mountain ranges, volcanic arcs, and deep ocean trenches. Transform boundaries, where plates slide past each other, are responsible for earthquakes along faults like California's San Andreas Fault. The implications of plate tectonics extend far beyond explaining geological features. It has reshaped our understanding of Earth's history, revealing how continents have shifted over billions of years, and how life has responded to changing environments. For example, the breakup of Pangaea, around 200 million years ago, created new ocean basins and altered climate patterns, influencing the evolution of species. Fossil evidence shows that organisms once shared habitats across continents before drifting apart, providing a timeline for the movement of plates. Plate tectonics also helps us understand natural hazards like earthquakes and volcanic eruptions. Most earthquakes occur along plate boundaries, where stress builds up as plates grind against each other. When this stress is released suddenly, seismic waves radiate outward, causing the ground to shake. Volcanoes, meanwhile, are typically found at convergent and divergent boundaries, where molten rock from the mantle reaches the surface. By studying plate movements, scientists can better predict where and when these events are likely to occur, saving lives and reducing damage. One of the most fascinating aspects of plate tectonics is its role in shaping Earth's habitability. The constant recycling of crust regulates the composition of the atmosphere, maintaining conditions suitable for life. For instance, carbon dioxide released during volcanic eruptions contributes to greenhouse warming, while subduction zones help remove CO2 from the atmosphere by trapping it in carbonate rocks. This delicate balance has kept Earth's climate relatively stable over geological timescales, despite fluctuations in solar radiation and other factors. Plate tectonics also offers insights into the future of our planet. As plates continue to move, continents will shift, collide, and merge. In about 250 million years, scientists predict that Earth's land masses will coalesce into another supercontinent, tentatively named Pangaea Proxima, or Amasya. Such cycles of fragmentation and reassembly have occurred multiple times throughout Earth's history, driven by the same forces that power plate tectonics today. Despite its explanatory power, plate tectonics raises intriguing questions about other planets and moons in our solar system. While Earth is the only planet known to have active plate tectonics, evidence suggests that similar processes may have occurred on Mars and Venus in the distant past. On icy moons like Europa and Enceladus, tidal forces generate heat that could drive tectonic-like activity, creating cracks and ridges on their frozen surfaces. Studying these extraterrestrial examples helps scientists refine their understanding of tectonic processes and explore the conditions necessary for life beyond Earth. Reflecting on the story of plate tectonics, it's remarkable how much this theory has illuminated about our planet. What began as a controversial idea, continents drifting across the globe, has become a cornerstone of modern geology, connecting seemingly unrelated phenomena into a coherent narrative. It reminds us that Earth is not a static sphere, but a living, breathing entity, shaped by forces both visible and hidden. From the towering peaks of the Himalayas to the depths of the Mariana Trench, Every landscape bears the imprint of plate tectonics, telling a story millions or even billions of years in the making. Yet plate tectonics also challenges us to think about humanity's place within this dynamic system. We live on a planet that is constantly changing, sometimes violently so. Earthquakes and volcanic eruptions serve as stark reminders of nature's power, dwarfing our technological achievements and forcing us to adapt. At the same time, the same forces that create destruction also bring renewal, enriching soils, shaping landscapes, and sustaining ecosystems. Understanding plate tectonics empowers us to prepare for and mitigate the risks posed by natural hazards. Early warning systems for earthquakes and tsunamis, improved building codes, and evacuation plans save countless lives each year. Advances in satellite technology and computer modeling allow scientists to monitor plate movements with increasing precision, providing valuable insights into potential threats. By working with rather than against the forces of nature, we can build more resilient communities and protect vulnerable populations. Ultimately, plate tectonics invites us to marvel at the intricate dance of forces that govern our planet. It underscores the interconnectedness of Earth's systems, showing how processes deep within the mantle influence everything from the air we breathe to the ground beneath our feet. Whether through the lens of geology, biology, or planetary science, this theory inspires awe and curiosity, reminding us that there is still so much to learn about the world around us. As you reflect on the significance of plate tectonics, consider the ways it shapes your own life. The minerals in your smartphone, the energy powering your home, and the landscapes you admire all owe their existence to the movement of Earth's plates. These processes operate on timescales far beyond human lifespans, yet their effects are woven into the fabric of daily existence. They remind us of the beauty and complexity of nature, encouraging us to approach the planet with humility, gratitude, and a sense of stewardship. In essence, plate tectonics is more than just a scientific theory. It's a testament to the enduring mystery and wonder of Earth. It challenges us to look beyond the surface, to delve deeper into the forces that shape our world, and to embrace the dynamic, ever-changing reality of life on this extraordinary planet. The periodic table. The periodic table is one of the most iconic tools in science, a masterpiece of organization that reveals the hidden relationships between the building blocks of matter. It's more than just a chart. It's a map of the universe at the atomic level, connecting elements that make up everything from stars to smartphones. Its creation was a monumental achievement in human thought, synthesizing centuries of discovery into a single, elegant framework. Yet, its story is far from static. It continues to evolve as scientists uncover new elements and deepen our understanding of the natural world. To appreciate the significance of the periodic table, we need to go back to the early days of chemistry, when the nature of matter itself was still a mystery. For millennia, philosophers speculated about the fundamental substances that compose the universe. Ancient Greeks proposed 4 classical elements: earth, air, fire, and water, but these were more symbolic than scientific. It wasn't until the 17th and 18th centuries that chemists began identifying specific substances, such as oxygen, hydrogen, and carbon, through rigorous experimentation. These discoveries laid the groundwork for a systematic approach to classifying elements. By the mid-19th century, over 60 elements had been identified, each with unique properties. However, organizing them in a meaningful way proved challenging. Early attempts grouped elements by shared characteristics, such as metals versus nonmetals, but these classifications were incomplete and inconsistent. The breakthrough came in 1869, when Russian chemist Dmitry Mendeleev published his groundbreaking periodic table. Mendeleev arranged the elements in order of increasing atomic weight and noticed recurring patterns in their chemical and physical properties. He left gaps for undiscovered elements, and even predicted their existence and characteristics with remarkable accuracy. Mendeleev's table was revolutionary because it revealed an underlying order to the elements, suggesting that their properties were not random but governed by deeper principles. His predictions were vindicated over time as new elements like gallium, scandium, and germanium were discovered, matching his descriptions almost perfectly. This success cemented the periodic table as a cornerstone of chemistry, earning Mendeleev widespread acclaim. However, questions remained about why the elements behaved the way they did, a puzzle that would take decades to solve. The answer came with the advent of quantum mechanics in the early 20th century. Scientists realized that the structure of the atom, particularly the arrangement of electrons in shells around the nucleus, determined an element's chemical behavior. Electrons occupy discrete energy levels, and the number of electrons in the outermost shell, known as valence electrons, dictates how an element interacts with others. This insight explained the periodic trends observed in the table, such as increasing reactivity in alkali metals or decreasing metallic character across a period. The modern periodic table reflects this understanding, organizing elements by atomic number, the number of protons in an atom's nucleus, rather than atomic weight. This change resolved inconsistencies in Mendeleev's original design, such as the placement of isotopes and rare earth elements. Today's table consists of rows called periods and columns called groups, with elements in the same group sharing similar properties due to their identical valence electron configurations. Metals dominate the left and center, while nonmetals occupy the upper right corner. The transition metals, lanthanides and actinides, fill out the middle, showcasing the diversity of elemental behavior. Each element on the periodic table tells a story, from the abundant oxygen that sustains life to the elusive francium, which exists only fleetingly in laboratories. Hydrogen, the lightest and most abundant element in the universe, fuels stars through nuclear fusion. Carbon, with its unparalleled ability to form complex molecules, serves as the backbone of organic chemistry and all known life. Silicon, often called the backbone of technology, enables the semiconductors that power computers and smartphones. Even obscure elements like neodymium play vital roles, forming the magnets essential for wind turbines and electric vehicles. Beyond its practical applications, the periodic table inspires awe through its sheer elegance. It distills the complexity of the universe into a single, accessible format, making it a powerful educational tool. Students learning chemistry for the first time can use the table to predict reactions, understand bonding, and explore the interplay between structure and function. Researchers rely on it to guide experiments, synthesize new materials, and push the boundaries of what's possible. And yet, despite its familiarity, the periodic table remains a source of wonder, revealing new insights as science advances. One of the most exciting frontiers in the study of the periodic table is the discovery of superheavy elements, those with atomic numbers greater than 104. These elements do not occur naturally and must be created in particle accelerators by smashing smaller nuclei together. While they exist for only fractions of a second before decaying, their synthesis expands our understanding of nuclear physics and tests the limits of the periodic table itself. Some scientists speculate that an island of stability may exist among superheavy elements, where certain configurations of protons and neutrons allow for longer lifetimes. If confirmed, this could open new avenues for research and application. The periodic table also raises philosophical questions about the nature of classification and discovery. Is it a human invention, shaped by our desire to impose order on chaos? Or does it reflect an objective truth about the universe, waiting to be uncovered? The fact that different civilizations independently arrived at similar organizational schemes suggests that the table taps into something universal, a reflection of the fundamental laws governing matter. At the same time, its ongoing evolution reminds us that knowledge is provisional, always subject to revision as new evidence emerges. Reflecting on the periodic table, it's impossible not to feel a sense of connection to the past, present, and future. Every element carries traces of cosmic history, forged in the hearts of stars or during cataclysmic supernovae. They link us to the origins of the universe, reminding us that we are made of stardust. At the same time, they point toward the future, offering tools to address humanity's greatest challenges. From developing sustainable energy sources to creating advanced medical treatments, the elements hold untapped potential waiting to be harnessed. The periodic table also invites us to think critically about sustainability and responsibility. Many elements are finite resources, extracted through environmentally damaging processes. Rare earth elements, crucial for electronics and green technologies, are often mined under questionable labor practices. Ensuring equitable access to these materials, while minimizing ecological harm, requires innovative solutions and global cooperation. Recycling, substitution, and alternative designs can help reduce dependency on scarce elements, preserving them for future generations. Ultimately, the periodic table is more than a catalog of elements. It's a testament to human curiosity and ingenuity. It embodies the spirit of exploration, bridging disciplines and cultures in the pursuit of knowledge. Whether used to unravel the mysteries of the cosmos, engineer cutting-edge technologies, or teach the next generation of scientists, it serves as a reminder of what we can achieve when we seek patterns in chaos and meaning in complexity. As you contemplate the periodic table, consider the profound ways it shapes your daily life. The iron in your blood, the calcium in your bones, and the silicon in your devices all trace their origins to this humble chart. It connects the microscopic world of atoms to the macroscopic reality of planets, stars, and galaxies. It challenges us to look beyond appearances, to find unity in diversity, and to embrace the endless possibilities of discovery. Through the periodic table, we glimpse the intricate web of relationships that bind the universe together and our place within it. The discovery of vaccines. The discovery of vaccines is one of humanity's greatest triumphs against disease, a breakthrough that has saved countless lives and transformed public health. Before vaccines, infectious diseases like smallpox, polio, and measles were among the leading causes of death worldwide, striking fear into communities and leaving devastation in their wake. Today, thanks to vaccines, many of these once deadly illnesses are either eradicated or under control, allowing millions to live longer, healthier lives. The story of vaccines is not just about science, it's about resilience, innovation, and the collective effort to protect humanity from invisible threats. To fully appreciate the significance of vaccines, we need to step back and consider life before their invention. For centuries, epidemics swept through populations with terrifying speed, leaving behind trails of suffering and loss. Smallpox alone killed an estimated 300 million people in the 20th century alone, more than any war or natural disaster. Entire families were wiped out, economies were crippled, and societies were left reeling. Treatments were rudimentary at best. Herbal remedies, bloodletting, and quarantine measures offered little relief. People prayed for divine intervention, but salvation came instead from an unexpected source: observation, experimentation, and the power of the immune system. The origins of vaccination can be traced back to ancient practices of variolation, a crude precursor to modern vaccines. In China, India, and parts of Africa, healers noticed that individuals who survived smallpox rarely contracted it again. To confer immunity, they deliberately exposed healthy people to material from smallpox sores, either by scratching it into the skin or inhaling powdered scabs. While variolation carried risks, including the possibility of triggering a full-blown infection, it was remarkably effective at reducing mortality rates. By the 18th century, this practice had spread to Europe and the Americas, laying the groundwork for a safer and more systematic approach. The true breakthrough came in 1796, when English physician Edward Jenner made a discovery that would change the course of medicine. Jenner observed that milkmaids who had contracted cowpox, a mild disease caused by a virus related to smallpox, seemed immune to smallpox itself. Intrigued, he conducted an experiment that would become legendary. He took pus from a cowpox lesion on a milkmaid's hand and scratched it into the arm of an 8-year-old boy named James Phipps. 6 weeks later, Jenner exposed the boy to smallpox, but Phipps showed no signs of infection. Jenner called his technique vaccination, derived from vacca, the Latin word for cow. His work marked the beginning of immunology as a scientific discipline and laid the foundation for modern vaccine development. Jenner's success sparked widespread adoption of vaccination, though not without resistance. Many people feared the procedure, associating it with unnatural tampering or religious objections. Anti-vaccination movements emerged early on, fueled by misinformation and distrust. Despite these challenges, the benefits of vaccination became undeniable as outbreaks declined in areas where it was practiced. By the mid-19th century, governments began mandating vaccinations, particularly for smallpox, recognizing their role in safeguarding public health. The next major leap forward came in the late 19th and early 20th centuries, as scientists unraveled the mechanisms of immunity and developed new methods for producing vaccines. Louis Pasteur, building on Jenner's work, pioneered techniques for attenuating, weakening pathogens to create vaccines for diseases like rabies and anthrax. His experiments demonstrated that weakened microbes could stimulate the immune system without causing illness, paving the way for live attenuated vaccines. Around the same time, Emil von Behring and Shibasaburo Kitasato discovered antibodies, proteins produced by the immune system to neutralize pathogens, earning them the Nobel Prize in Physiology or Medicine in 1901. Their findings led to the development of antitoxins and serum therapies, which complemented vaccination efforts. The 20th century saw an explosion of vaccine innovation, driven by advances in microbiology, chemistry, and manufacturing. Jonas Salk's polio vaccine, introduced in 1955, stands as one of the most celebrated achievements of this era. Polio, a highly contagious viral disease, paralyzed thousands of children each year, including future President Franklin D. Roosevelt. Salk's inactivated virus vaccine provided safe and effective protection, drastically reducing cases within years. Later, Albert Sabin developed an oral polio vaccine using a live attenuated virus, which proved even easier to administer and played a key role in global eradication efforts. Other milestones followed, each targeting a different scourge of humanity. Maurice Hilleman, often called the father of modern vaccines, developed over 40 vaccines during his career, including those for measles, mumps, rubella, hepatitis B, and meningitis. The combination MMR vaccine, introduced in the 1970s, revolutionized pediatric care by protecting children from 3 devastating diseases with a single shot. Meanwhile, advances in genetic engineering enabled the creation of subunit, recombinant, and conjugate vaccines, which use specific pieces of pathogens rather than whole organisms to trigger immunity. These innovations have made vaccines safer, more targeted, and less likely to cause side effects. Vaccines have also played a critical role in combating pandemics, offering hope in times of crisis. During the 1918 influenza pandemic, which claimed an estimated 50 million lives, researchers lacked the tools to develop a vaccine quickly. A century later, when COVID-19 emerged in late 2019, the response was markedly different. Thanks to decades of research and investment in mRNA technology, scientists were able to design, test, and distribute highly effective vaccines within months. This unprecedented achievement not only curbed the spread of the virus, but also showcased the potential of cutting-edge platforms like messenger RNA, also called mRNA, to tackle future threats. Despite their immense success, vaccines continue to face challenges. Misinformation campaigns, fueled by social media and anti-vaccine rhetoric, have eroded trust in immunization programs, leading to outbreaks of preventable diseases like measles. Vaccine hesitancy remains a significant barrier, particularly in low-income countries, where access to healthcare is limited. Addressing these issues requires a multifaceted approach, combining education, outreach, and equitable distribution to ensure that everyone benefits from this life-saving technology. Looking ahead, the future of vaccines holds tremendous promise. Researchers are exploring new ways to combat emerging infectious diseases, cancer, and autoimmune disorders. Universal flu vaccines, capable of providing long-lasting protection against multiple strains, are in development. Personalized cancer vaccines, tailored to an individual's tumor profile, offer hope for more effective treatments. And innovative delivery systems, such as microneedle patches and nasal sprays, aim to make vaccines more accessible and convenient. Beyond their medical applications, vaccines remind us of the importance of global cooperation. Diseases know no borders, and controlling them requires collaboration across nations, disciplines, and sectors. Initiatives like Gavi, the Vaccine Alliance, and COVAX demonstrate the power of partnerships to expand access to immunizations in low- and middle-income countries, By working together, we can close gaps in coverage, strengthen health systems, and build resilience against future pandemics. Reflecting on the history of vaccines, it's impossible not to feel a sense of awe at what humanity has accomplished. What began as a simple observation about cowpox has evolved into a sophisticated toolkit capable of preventing some of the deadliest diseases known to humankind. Vaccines embody the best of science, a blend of curiosity, creativity, and compassion. They remind us that progress is possible, even in the face of seemingly insurmountable odds. Ultimately, vaccines are more than just medical interventions. They are symbols of hope and solidarity. They connect us across generations, cultures, and continents, uniting us in the shared goal of protecting life. Whether through the eradication of smallpox, the near elimination of polio, or the rapid response to COVID-19, vaccines demonstrate what we can achieve when we harness the power of knowledge and act collectively. As you contemplate the impact of vaccines, consider the countless lives they have touched, directly and indirectly. From the child spared the paralysis of polio to the grandparent shielded from pneumonia, vaccines ripple outward, creating healthier, stronger communities. They challenge us to look beyond ourselves, to prioritize prevention over cure, and to invest in solutions that benefit everyone, not just the privileged few. Through vaccines, we glimpse the profound interconnectedness of human existence and our capacity to shape a better future. The photoelectric effect. The photoelectric effect is one of the most pivotal discoveries in physics, fundamentally altering our understanding of light and matter. It challenged centuries-old assumptions about the nature of energy and laid the groundwork for quantum mechanics, one of the most revolutionary branches of science. What began as an obscure experimental observation eventually reshaped how we think about the universe, proving that light behaves not just as a wave, but also as discrete packets of energy called photons. This discovery not only earned Albert Einstein the Nobel Prize in Physics in 1921, but also opened the door to technologies like solar panels, lasers, and even modern electronics. To fully appreciate the significance of the photoelectric effect, we need to step back and consider the scientific landscape before its discovery. For centuries, light was understood primarily as a wave, a disturbance traveling through space, much like ripples on water. This wave theory, championed by physicists like Christian Huygens and later refined by James Clerk Maxwell, explained phenomena such as interference, diffraction, and polarization with remarkable accuracy. By the late 19th century, it seemed that light's behavior was well understood. However, certain experiments revealed anomalies that classical wave theory couldn't explain. One such anomaly involved the interaction between light and metals. In the late 1800s, researchers observed that when light shines on certain materials, it can eject electrons from their surfaces, a phenomenon known as the photoelectric effect. At first glance, this seemed straightforward. If light carries energy, then shining it on a metal should transfer enough energy to knock electrons loose. But the details didn't align with expectations. For instance, increasing the intensity of light, making it brighter, didn't always result in more energetic electrons being ejected. Instead, what mattered was the frequency, or color of the light. Below a certain threshold frequency, no electrons were emitted, regardless of how intense the light was. This baffling behavior contradicted the predictions of classical wave theory, which suggested that brighter light, carrying more energy, should always eject electrons, albeit with varying energies. Physicists struggled to reconcile these observations with existing models, leaving the photoelectric effect as an unsolved puzzle. Enter Albert Einstein, whose groundbreaking insight would resolve the mystery and redefine our understanding of light. In 1905, often referred to as Einstein's miracle year, he published a paper proposing a radical solution. Light consists of discrete packets of energy called quanta, later named photons. Building on Max Planck's earlier work on blackbody radiation, which introduced the idea that energy is quantized, Einstein applied this concept to the photoelectric effect. He suggested that each photon carries an amount of energy proportional to its frequency, described by the equation E equals hf, where E is the energy of the photon F is its frequency, and h is Planck's constant. When a photon strikes a metal surface, it transfers all its energy to an electron. If this energy exceeds the binding energy holding the electron to the metal, called the work function, the electron is ejected. Einstein's explanation elegantly accounted for the experimental observations. The threshold frequency corresponds to the minimum energy required to overcome the work function. Below this frequency, no electrons are emitted because individual photons lack sufficient energy, regardless of how many photons strike the surface. Above the threshold, increasing the light's intensity simply increases the number of photons, leading to more ejected electrons but not higher energy ones. Conversely, raising the frequency boosts the energy of each photon, resulting in faster-moving electrons. Einstein's hypothesis was met with skepticism at first. After all, it directly contradicted the prevailing wave theory of light, which had been so successful in explaining other phenomena. However, subsequent experiments confirmed his predictions with remarkable precision. In 1916, American physicist Robert Millikan conducted meticulous measurements of the photoelectric effect, verifying Einstein's equations and providing strong evidence for the quantum nature of light. These findings cemented the photoelectric effect as a cornerstone of quantum theory and marked a turning point in physics. The implications of the photoelectric effect extend far beyond theoretical physics. It paved the way for practical applications that have transformed technology and daily life. One of the most prominent examples is the development of photovoltaic cells, or solar panels, which convert sunlight directly into electricity. These devices rely on the same principles as the photoelectric effect. Photons striking a semiconductor material knock electrons loose, creating an electric current. Solar energy has become a cornerstone of renewable energy efforts, offering a sustainable alternative to fossil fuels and helping combat climate change. The photoelectric effect also underpins the operation of numerous electronic components, including photodiodes and phototransistors, which detect light and convert it into electrical signals. These components are integral to devices like cameras, optical sensors, and fiber optic communication systems. Additionally, the effect played a crucial role in the invention of the laser, a device that amplifies light through stimulated emission, another quantum phenomenon. Lasers are now ubiquitous, used in everything from barcode scanners and medical surgeries to high-speed internet and advanced manufacturing. Beyond its technological impact, the photoelectric effect challenges us to rethink the nature of reality itself. It demonstrates that light, and indeed all particles, exhibits both wave-like and particle-like behavior, depending on how it is observed. This duality lies at the heart of quantum mechanics, forcing scientists to abandon deterministic views of the universe in favor of probabilistic interpretations. The uncertainty principle, superposition, and entanglement, all hallmarks of quantum theory, are direct descendants of the insights sparked by the photoelectric effect. Reflecting on the story of the photoelectric effect, it's impossible not to marvel at its profound implications. What began as an unexplained anomaly became a catalyst for one of the greatest scientific revolutions in history. It reminds us that progress often arises from questioning established paradigms and embracing unconventional ideas. Einstein's willingness to challenge the orthodoxy of his time exemplifies the spirit of scientific inquiry, curiosity, creativity, and courage. Ultimately, the photoelectric effect is more than just a physical phenomenon. It's a testament to humanity's quest for understanding. It bridges the macroscopic world of everyday experience with the microscopic realm of atoms and particles, revealing the intricate interplay between energy, matter, and light. Whether through the lens of technology, philosophy, or art, this discovery inspires awe and wonder, reminding us that the universe is far stranger and more beautiful than we might ever imagine. As you contemplate the significance of the photoelectric effect, consider the countless ways it shapes your daily life. From the solar panels powering homes to the sensors enabling smartphones, its influence is woven into the fabric of modern existence. It connects the abstract mathematics of quantum mechanics to the tangible innovations that drive society forward. It challenges us to look beyond appearances, to find unity in diversity, and to embrace the endless possibilities of discovery. Through the photoelectric effect, we glimpse the beauty and complexity of the cosmos, and our role in unraveling its secrets. Black holes. Black holes are among the most enigmatic and awe-inspiring phenomena in the universe, embodying the extremes of nature's power and mystery. These cosmic behemoths, regions of space-time where gravity is so intense that nothing, not even light, can escape, challenge our understanding of physics and ignite our imagination. From their theoretical origins in Einstein's equations to their detection through cutting-edge technology, black holes have become a cornerstone of modern astrophysics, offering profound insights into the workings of the cosmos. To fully appreciate the significance of black holes, we need to step back and explore the intellectual journey that led to their discovery. The concept of objects with gravitational fields so strong they trap light dates back to the 18th century, long before Einstein's theory of general relativity. In 1783, English natural philosopher John Michell proposed the idea of dark stars, massive celestial bodies whose gravity would prevent light from escaping. Using Newtonian mechanics, he calculated that if a star were dense enough, its escape velocity could exceed the speed of light, rendering it invisible. Though speculative, Michell's ideas laid the groundwork for future exploration. The true breakthrough came in 1915, when Albert Einstein published his groundbreaking theory of general relativity. This theory redefined gravity as the curvature of spacetime caused by massive objects, providing a new framework for understanding the universe. Just months later, German physicist Karl Schwarzschild solved Einstein's equations for a spherical, non-rotating mass, revealing a mathematical singularity, a point where density becomes infinite and spacetime curves infinitely. This solution described what we now call the Schwarzschild radius, the boundary of a region beyond which nothing can escape. While Schwarzschild himself didn't interpret this result as a physical object, his work planted the seeds for the modern concept of black holes. For decades, black holes remained a theoretical curiosity, dismissed by many as mathematical oddities rather than real astronomical entities. It wasn't until the mid-20th century that physicists began to take them seriously. In the 1960s, advances in astrophysics and observational technology brought black holes into sharper focus. Researchers like Subramanian Chandrasekhar and Robert Oppenheimer explored the fate of massive stars, showing that when such stars exhaust their nuclear fuel, they collapse under their own gravity, potentially forming black holes. Meanwhile, Roger Penrose and Stephen Hawking developed rigorous mathematical frameworks, proving that singularities, points of infinite density, are inevitable outcomes of gravitational collapse under certain conditions. The term black hole itself was coined in 1967 by American physicist John Archibald Wheeler, who sought a vivid way to describe these mysterious objects. His choice of words captured both their defining feature, the absence of light, and their allure as cosmic enigmas. By this time, evidence for black holes was beginning to mount. Astronomers observed strange phenomena, such as X-rays emitted by gas spiraling toward unseen companions in binary star systems. These observations suggested the presence of compact, massive objects, too dense to be anything other than black holes. One of the most compelling pieces of evidence came in the 1970s with the discovery of Cygnus X1, a powerful X-ray source orbiting a blue supergiant star. Detailed measurements revealed that the invisible companion had a mass far exceeding the theoretical limit for neutron stars, leaving a black hole as the only plausible explanation. Since then, numerous black holes have been identified across the universe, ranging from stellar mass black holes formed by collapsing stars to supermassive black holes lurking at the centers of galaxies, including our own Milky Way. Supermassive black holes, millions or even billions of times more massive than the Sun, are particularly fascinating. Their immense gravitational pull influences the motion of stars and gas in their vicinity, shaping the evolution of galaxies. The black hole at the center of the Milky Way, known as Sagittarius A, has been studied extensively through the orbits of nearby stars. These observations confirm its existence and provide a laboratory for testing general relativity in extreme conditions. In 2019, the Event Horizon Telescope (EHT) collaboration achieved a monumental milestone by capturing the first-ever image of a black hole shadow, a glowing ring of hot gas surrounding the event horizon of the supermassive black hole in the galaxy M87. This achievement not only validated decades of theoretical predictions, but also showcased humanity's ability to probe the universe's deepest mysteries. Black holes also raise profound questions about the nature of reality. At their cores lie singularities, points where the laws of physics as we know them break down. What happens inside a black hole? Does time cease to exist? Could singularities connect to other universes via wormholes, as some speculative theories suggest? These unanswered questions highlight the limits of our current understanding and inspire researchers to push the boundaries of knowledge. Another intriguing aspect of black holes is their role in the broader cosmos. They act as engines of creation and destruction, influencing their surroundings in dramatic ways. When matter falls toward a black hole, it forms an accretion disk, a swirling maelstrom of gas and dust heated to millions of degrees. This process releases enormous amounts of energy, powering some of the brightest objects in the universe, such as quasars and active galactic nuclei. Conversely, black holes can also suppress star formation by ejecting material through high-speed jets, regulating the growth of galaxies. Hawking radiation, proposed by Stephen Hawking in 1974, adds another layer of complexity to black holes. According to quantum mechanics, pairs of particles and antiparticles constantly pop in and out of existence near the event horizon. If one particle falls into the black hole while the other escapes, the black hole appears to emit radiation, gradually losing mass over time. While this effect is negligible for large black holes, it implies that smaller ones could eventually evaporate completely, raising tantalizing questions about the ultimate fate of information trapped within them. Reflecting on the story of black holes, it's impossible not to feel a sense of wonder at their paradoxical nature. They represent both destruction and renewal, chaos and order, mystery and clarity. They challenge us to think beyond the familiar, to embrace complexity, and to marvel at the elegance of the natural world. Whether through the lens of astrophysics, philosophy, or art, black holes inspire awe and curiosity, reminding us that the quest for understanding is never-ending. Ultimately, black holes are more than just astronomical objects. They're symbols of humanity's enduring fascination with the unknown. They connect us to the vastness of the universe, grounding us in the realization that we are part of something far greater than ourselves. From the equations of Einstein to the images captured by the EHT, they remind us of what we can achieve when we dare to dream big and ask bold questions. As you contemplate the significance of black holes, consider the countless ways they shape our understanding of the cosmos. From the dance of stars around Sagittarius A to the fiery glow of quasars billions of light-years away, their influence is woven into the fabric of the universe. They challenge us to look beyond appearances, to find unity in diversity, and to embrace the endless possibilities of discovery. Through black holes, we glimpse the beauty and complexity of the cosmos, and our role in unraveling its secrets. The Discovery of Electromagnetism. The discovery of electromagnetism is one of the most transformative milestones in the history of science, unifying two seemingly unrelated forces, electricity and magnetism, into a single, elegant framework. This breakthrough not only reshaped our understanding of the natural world, but also laid the foundation for countless technologies that define modern life. From electric motors and generators to radios, MRI machines, and even the internet, electromagnetism has become an indispensable part of our daily existence. Its story is a testament to human curiosity, perseverance, and the power of observation. To fully appreciate the significance of electromagnetism, we need to step back and consider the state of physics before its discovery. For centuries, electricity and magnetism were studied as separate phenomena, each with its own set of rules and mysteries. Early experiments with static electricity revealed that certain materials could attract or repel each other when rubbed together, a phenomenon attributed to an invisible electric fluid. Similarly, ancient civilizations had long observed the peculiar properties of lodestones, naturally magnetized minerals that could align themselves with Earth's magnetic field. These observations hinted at deeper principles. But no one suspected that electricity and magnetism were fundamentally connected. The first major step toward understanding electromagnetism came in the late 18th and early 19th centuries, thanks to pioneering work by scientists like Benjamin Franklin, Charles Augustin de Coulomb, and Alessandro Volta. Franklin's famous kite experiment in 1752 demonstrated that lightning was a form of electricity, while Coulomb formulated the inverse square law governing electric and magnetic forces. Volta's invention of the voltaic pile, the first battery, provided a reliable source of electric current, enabling further exploration. Yet, despite these advances, electricity and magnetism remain distinct fields of study, their relationship still hidden. The turning point came in 1820, when Danish physicist Hans Christian Ørsted made a serendipitous discovery that would change everything. While preparing a lecture demonstration, Ørsted noticed something extraordinary. When he switched on an electric current flowing through a wire, a nearby compass needle deflected. This simple observation revealed a profound connection between electricity and magnetism. Electric currents could produce magnetic effects. Ørsted's finding sent shockwaves through the scientific community, sparking a flurry of research into this newfound interaction. Building on Ørsted's work, French physicist André-Marie Ampère quickly expanded the understanding of electromagnetism. Within weeks, Ampère demonstrated that parallel electric currents exert forces on each other, laying the groundwork for what would later be known as Ampère's law. He proposed that magnetism itself might arise from moving electric charges, offering a radical new perspective on the nature of magnetic fields. Ampère's insights not only deepened the theoretical foundation of electromagnetism, but also inspired practical applications, such as the development of electromagnets, coils of wire wrapped around iron cores that amplify magnetic fields when energized. The next major leap forward came in 1831, when British scientist Michael Faraday unveiled another groundbreaking discovery: electromagnetic induction. Through meticulous experimentation, Faraday showed that changing magnetic fields could generate electric currents in nearby conductors. This principle, now known as Faraday's law of induction, became the cornerstone of modern electrical engineering. It explained how mechanical energy could be converted into electrical energy, paving the way for the invention of generators and transformers. Faraday's work transformed electricity from a scientific curiosity into a practical tool, setting the stage for the Industrial Revolution and the electrification of society. Faraday's contributions extended beyond his experimental genius. He introduced the concept of fields to describe electric and magnetic phenomena. Rather than viewing forces as acting directly between objects, Faraday envisioned them as mediated by invisible fields permeating space. This revolutionary idea provided a conceptual framework that would later inspire James Clerk Maxwell to unify electricity, magnetism, and light into a single theory. Maxwell's synthesis of electromagnetism, published in the 1860s, stands as one of the greatest achievements in the history of physics. By combining the laws of electricity and magnetism into a set of 4 elegant equations, now known as Maxwell's equations, he demonstrated that electric and magnetic fields are 2 sides of the same coin. Moreover, Maxwell predicted the existence of electromagnetic waves, oscillations of electric and magnetic fields that travel through space at the speed of light. This revelation not only confirmed that light itself is an electromagnetic wave, but also opened the door to the discovery of other forms of radiation, from radio waves to X-rays. The implications of Maxwell's theory were profound, bridging the gap between classical mechanics and the emerging field of quantum physics. His equations provided the mathematical language for understanding everything from wireless communication to the behavior of subatomic particles. They also inspired Heinrich Hertz, who in 1887 successfully generated and detected electromagnetic waves, proving Maxwell's predictions correct. Hertz's experiments laid the groundwork for the development of radio technology, ushering in the age of wireless communication. Electromagnetism has since become the backbone of modern technology, powering innovations that have transformed nearly every aspect of human life. Electric motors, which convert electrical energy into mechanical motion, drive everything from household appliances to industrial machinery. Generators, operating on the reverse principle, produce electricity by harnessing kinetic energy from sources like wind, water, and steam. Transformers enable efficient transmission of electricity over long distances, making it possible to deliver power to homes, businesses, and cities around the globe. Beyond its practical applications, electromagnetism continues to challenge and inspire scientists. It plays a central role in quantum electrodynamics, QED, the quantum theory describing how light and matter interact. QED has achieved unparalleled precision in predicting experimental results, earning it a reputation as one of the most successful theories in physics. Meanwhile, researchers are exploring ways to manipulate electromagnetic fields for cutting-edge technologies, such as wireless charging, advanced imaging techniques, and even quantum computing. Reflecting on the story of electromagnetism, it's impossible not to marvel at its elegance and universality. What began as isolated observations of static electricity and magnetic lodestones evolved into a unified theory that explains some of the most fundamental processes in the universe. Electromagnetism connects the smallest particles to the largest structures, revealing patterns and principles that transcend scales and disciplines. It reminds us that progress often arises from asking simple questions and following where the answers lead. Ultimately, electromagnetism is more than just a scientific theory. It's a testament to humanity's ability to uncover hidden truths and harness them for the betterment of society. It bridges the abstract mathematics of physics with the tangible innovations that shape our world, demonstrating the power of curiosity and collaboration. Whether through the lens of technology, philosophy, or art, this discovery inspires awe and wonder, reminding us that the quest for understanding is never-ending. As you contemplate the significance of electromagnetism, consider the countless ways it shapes your daily life. From the electricity powering your devices to the signals carrying your voice across continents, its influence is woven into the fabric of modern existence. It connects the microscopic world of electrons to the macroscopic reality of global networks, challenging us to look beyond appearances, to find unity and diversity, and to embrace the endless possibilities of discovery. Through electromagnetism, we glimpse the beauty and complexity of the cosmos, and our role in unraveling its secrets. The Human Genome Project. The Human Genome Project, HGP, stands as one of the most ambitious and transformative scientific endeavors in history, unlocking the blueprint of human life itself. By decoding the entire sequence of the human genome, the complete set of DNA instructions that make us who we are, this monumental effort has revolutionized biology, medicine, and our understanding of what it means to be human. It's not just a story of science, it's a story of collaboration, innovation, and the boundless potential of human curiosity. To fully appreciate the significance of the Human Genome Project, we need to step back and consider the state of genetics before its inception. For much of the 20th century, scientists had been piecing together the puzzle of DNA, from James Watson and Francis Crick's discovery of the double helix in 1953 to the identification of specific genes responsible for inherited diseases. Yet despite these advances, the full picture remained elusive. The human genome was like an uncharted map, a vast intricate code written in the language of nucleotides, A, T, C, G, that held the secrets to health, disease, and evolution. Deciphering this code seemed like an impossible dream, but the seeds of ambition were already being sown. The idea for the Human Genome Project took shape in the mid-1980s, driven by a growing recognition that mapping and sequencing the entire human genome could unlock unprecedented insights into biology and medicine. In 1990, an international consortium of scientists officially launched the project, setting an audacious goal to determine the sequence of all 3 billion base pairs in the human genome within 15 years. This endeavor would require not only cutting-edge technology, but also unprecedented levels of cooperation across disciplines, institutions, and nations. Funded primarily by the U.S. National Institutes of Health, NIH, and the Department of Energy, with contributions from countries like the United Kingdom, Japan, France, Germany, and China, the HGP became a model of global scientific collaboration. At its core, the Human Genome Project was about more than just reading the genetic code. It was about understanding how that code works. Genes, the functional units of DNA, encode proteins that perform essential tasks in the body, from building tissues to regulating metabolism. But genes make up only about 1 to 2% of the genome. The rest, once dismissed as junk DNA, turned out to play critical roles in regulating gene activity, maintaining chromosome structure, and influencing evolution. Mapping the genome wasn't just about finding genes, it was about unraveling the complex interplay between DNA, RNA, and proteins that governs life. The technical challenges were immense. Sequencing DNA involves determining the precise order of nucleotides along each chromosome, a task akin to assembling a jigsaw puzzle with billions of pieces. Early methods, such as Sanger sequencing, were labor-intensive and expensive, capable of processing only small fragments of DNA at a time. To tackle the scale of the HGP, researchers developed new technologies and strategies, including automated sequencing machines, bioinformatics tools, and innovative approaches to data analysis. These innovations accelerated progress, turning what seemed like a decades-long mission into a decade-spanning triumph. One of the most remarkable aspects of the Human Genome Project was its spirit of openness. Unlike many scientific endeavors shrouded in secrecy, the HGP made its data publicly available as soon as it was generated. This commitment to transparency ensured that researchers worldwide could access the information, fostering innovation and accelerating discoveries. It also sparked a fierce race between the public consortium and a private company, Celera Genomics, led by Craig Venter. Using a faster but less comprehensive method called whole genome shotgun sequencing, Celera aimed to beat the public effort to the finish line. While the competition fueled controversy, it ultimately pushed both sides to work harder and faster, benefiting science as a whole. In 2001, the first draft of the human genome was published, a landmark achievement celebrated around the world. 2 papers appeared simultaneously, one in Nature from the public consortium and another in Science from Celera. Though incomplete, the draft provided a rough sketch of the genome, identifying approximately 20,000 to 25,000 genes and laying the groundwork for future refinements. By 2003, coinciding with the 50th anniversary of Watson and Crick's discovery of the double helix, the project was declared complete, with over 99% of the genome sequenced to high accuracy. The cost? Roughly $3 billion. A staggering sum, but a bargain given the wealth of knowledge it produced. The impact of the Human Genome Project has been nothing short of revolutionary. In medicine, it has transformed how we diagnose, treat, and prevent diseases. By pinpointing genetic mutations associated with conditions like cystic fibrosis, Huntington's disease, and certain cancers, researchers have developed targeted therapies that address the root causes of illness rather than just alleviating symptoms. Pharmacogenomics, the study of how genes influence drug response, has paved the way for personalized medicine, ensuring that treatments are tailored to individual patients' genetic profiles. Meanwhile, prenatal testing and carrier screening allow prospective parents to make informed decisions about their children's health. Beyond healthcare, the HGP has reshaped fields as diverse as agriculture, forensics, and anthropology. In agriculture, genomic research has enabled the development of crops with higher yields, pest resistance, and improved nutritional content, addressing global food security challenges. Forensic science relies on DNA profiling to solve crimes, identify victims, and exonerate the innocent. And evolutionary biologists use comparative genomics to trace the origins and migrations of ancient populations, shedding light on humanity's shared heritage and diversity. Yet, for all its promise, the Human Genome Project raises important ethical, legal, and social questions. Issues like genetic privacy, discrimination based on genetic information, and the potential misuse of gene editing technologies demand careful consideration. Should employers or insurers have access to individuals' genetic data? How do we ensure equitable access to the benefits of genomic research? And what safeguards are needed to prevent abuses of powerful tools like CRISPR? These questions highlight the dual-edged nature of scientific progress, reminding us that every advancement brings opportunities and responsibilities. Reflecting on the story of the Human Genome Project, it's impossible not to feel a sense of awe at its scope and ambition. What began as a bold vision became a reality through the collective efforts of thousands of scientists, engineers, ethicists, and policymakers. It reminds us that big challenges require big thinking, and that collaboration can achieve what no single individual or institution could accomplish alone. From the humble beginnings of deciphering DNA to the dawn of precision medicine, the HGP exemplifies the power of science to transform lives and expand horizons. Ultimately, the Human Genome Project is more than just a scientific milestone. It's a testament to humanity's enduring quest for understanding. It connects us to our past, revealing the genetic threads that bind us to our ancestors and to each other. It points toward the future, offering glimpses of what might be possible as we continue to explore the mysteries of life. Whether through the lens of biology, philosophy, or art, this discovery inspires wonder and curiosity, reminding us that the universe is far richer and more intricate than we might ever imagine. As you contemplate the significance of the Human Genome Project, consider the countless ways it shapes your daily life. The medicines you take, the foods you eat, and the technologies you rely on all owe their existence, in part, to this groundbreaking effort. It connects the microscopic world of genes to the macroscopic reality of ecosystems and evolution. It challenges us to look beyond appearances, to find unity in diversity, and to embrace the endless possibilities of discovery. Through the Human Genome Project, we glimpse the beauty and complexity of the cosmos, and our role in unraveling its secrets. The discovery of X-rays. The discovery of X-rays is one of the most serendipitous and transformative moments in the history of science, a breakthrough that not only revolutionized medicine, but also opened new windows into the invisible world. What began as an accidental observation in a dimly lit laboratory became a cornerstone of modern physics and technology, reshaping how we diagnose illnesses, study materials, and explore the universe. The story of X-rays is a testament to human curiosity, perseverance, and the profound impact of unexpected discoveries. To fully appreciate the significance of X-rays, we need to step back and consider the state of science in the late 19th century. This was an era of rapid progress and discovery, with physicists unraveling the mysteries of electricity, magnetism, and radiation. Researchers were probing the nature of light and matter, experimenting with cathode rays, streams of electrons emitted from heated metal surfaces in vacuum tubes. These investigations laid the groundwork for groundbreaking insights, though no one could have predicted the strange phenomenon that would soon emerge. The pivotal moment came on the 8th of November, 1895, in the laboratory of German physicist Wilhelm Röntgen. Working late into the night, Röntgen was conducting experiments with a Crookes tube, a glass bulb containing a vacuum and electrodes. When he applied high voltage to the tube, it emitted a glow, even when covered with black cardboard, to block visible light. Intrigued, Röntgen noticed something extraordinary. A fluorescent screen nearby began to glow, despite being shielded from the tube's direct emissions. Even more astonishing, when he placed his hand between the tube and the screen, he saw the shadowy outlines of his bones projected onto the surface. Röntgen realized he had stumbled upon a previously unknown form of radiation, one that could penetrate soft tissues but was blocked by denser materials like bone or metal. He called these mysterious rays X-rays, using the mathematical symbol for an unknown quantity. Over the next several weeks, Röntgen conducted meticulous experiments to understand their properties. He discovered that X-rays traveled in straight lines, could pass through most materials, and left impressions on photographic plates. To demonstrate their potential, he took the first ever X-ray image, a photograph of his wife Anna Bertha's hand, revealing her skeleton and wedding ring. When she saw the image, she reportedly exclaimed, "I have seen my death," a poignant reflection of the eerie yet revolutionary nature of the discovery. Röntgen published his findings in December 1895, sending shockwaves through the scientific community. His paper, titled "On a New Kind of Rays," sparked immediate interest and experimentation. Within months, researchers around the world were replicating his results and exploring applications for X-rays. Physicians quickly recognized their potential for medical imaging, allowing them to peer inside the human body without surgery. By early 1896, X-ray machines were being used in hospitals to locate fractures, bullets, and foreign objects, transforming diagnostics and saving countless lives. The rapid adoption of X-rays marked the beginning of a new era in medicine. For the first time, doctors could visualize internal structures non-invasively, providing insights that were previously impossible. Surgeons used X-rays to guide procedures, while dentists employed them to examine teeth and jaws. During World War I, portable X-ray units brought this technology to the battlefield, enabling medics to treat wounded soldiers more effectively. Despite initial enthusiasm, however, the dangers of X-rays soon became apparent. Prolonged exposure caused burns, hair loss, and increased cancer risk, leading to the development of safety protocols and protective measures like lead shielding. Beyond medicine, X-rays found applications in diverse fields, from industry to art. Engineers used them to inspect welds and detect flaws in metal structures, ensuring the safety of bridges, airplanes, and pipelines. Archaeologists employed X-rays to study artifacts and mummies, revealing hidden details without damaging fragile materials. Art historians turned to X-ray fluorescence spectroscopy to analyze pigments and uncover alterations in paintings, shedding light on artistic techniques and authenticity. Even astronomers embraced X-rays, using space-based telescopes to observe high-energy phenomena like black holes and supernovae, which emit radiation beyond the visible spectrum. The discovery of X-rays also spurred advances in fundamental physics. It inspired further research into the nature of radiation and atomic structure, contributing to the development of quantum mechanics. In 1912, German physicist Max von Laue demonstrated that X-rays could diffract when passed through crystals, producing patterns that reveal the arrangement of atoms within the material. This technique, known as X-ray crystallography, became a powerful tool for studying molecular structures. It played a key role in deciphering the double helix of DNA, earning critical acclaim for scientists like Rosalind Franklin, whose X-ray images provided crucial evidence for Watson and Crick's model. Reflecting on the story of X-rays, it's impossible not to marvel at the serendipity and ingenuity behind their discovery. Röntgen's willingness to follow an unexpected observation led to a breakthrough that transcended disciplines and transformed society. His work exemplifies the spirit of scientific inquiry, curiosity, creativity, and courage. Yet, the story of X-rays also serves as a reminder of the dual-edged nature of discovery. While they have brought immense benefits, they also carry risks that require careful management. Ultimately, X-rays are more than just a scientific phenomenon. They're a symbol of humanity's quest to see beyond the visible and understand the unseen. They connect us to the intricate structures of our bodies, the materials we use, and the cosmos we inhabit. Whether through the lens of medicine, technology, or exploration, X-rays inspire awe and wonder, reminding us that the universe is far richer and more complex than we might ever imagine. As you contemplate the significance of X-rays, consider the countless ways they shape your daily life. From the dental X-rays at your checkup to the security scanners at airports, their influence is woven into the fabric of modern existence. They connect the microscopic world of atoms to the macroscopic reality of galaxies, challenging us to look beyond appearances, to find unity in diversity, and to embrace the endless possibilities of discovery. Through X-rays, we glimpse the beauty and complexity of the cosmos, and our role in unraveling its secrets. The concept of entropy. The concept of entropy is one of the most profound and far-reaching ideas in science, shaping our understanding of everything from the behavior of atoms to the fate of the universe itself. At its core, entropy is a measure of disorder or randomness in a system, a deceptively simple idea that has profound implications across physics, chemistry, biology, and even philosophy. It challenges us to think about time, energy, and the inevitable march toward equilibrium, offering insights into why things break down, why life is so remarkable, and why the universe operates the way it does. To fully appreciate entropy, we must step back and explore its origins, its meanings, and its enduring relevance. To begin, let's clarify what entropy is and what it isn't. In thermodynamics, entropy was first introduced in the mid-19th century as part of the second law of thermodynamics, which states that the total entropy of an isolated system always increases over time. This law doesn't mean that order can never arise. Rather, it tells us that creating order in one part of a system requires increasing disorder elsewhere. For example, when you clean your room, you decrease its local entropy by organizing objects, but in doing so, you expend energy, generate heat, and increase the overall entropy of the universe. Entropy is not just about messiness, it's about the flow of energy and the natural tendency of systems to move toward states of maximum probability. The story of entropy begins with the Industrial Revolution, a time when humanity was harnessing steam power to transform society. Engineers and scientists sought to understand how heat engines worked and why they couldn't convert all the heat they consumed into useful work. Enter Rudolf Clausius, a German physicist who formalized the concept of entropy in 1865. Building on earlier work by Sadi Carnot and others, Clausius defined entropy as a state function, a property of a system that depends only on its current state, not how it got there. He showed that in any energy transfer or transformation, some energy becomes unavailable for doing work, effectively lost as waste heat. This loss corresponds to an increase in entropy, quantifying the dispersal of energy within a system. Entropy quickly became a cornerstone of classical thermodynamics, providing a mathematical framework for understanding why processes happen the way they do. Consider a hot cup of coffee cooling on a table. Heat flows from the coffee to the surrounding air because the system seeks a state of thermal equilibrium, where temperatures are equalized. This process increases the entropy of the universe because the energy spreads out more evenly. Similarly, ice melts in warm water, gases expand to fill containers, and batteries discharge, all examples of systems evolving toward higher entropy states. These everyday phenomena reflect the universal drive toward disorder, governed by the probabilistic nature of particles. But entropy isn't confined to thermodynamics. It extends into statistical mechanics, where it takes on a deeper meaning. In the late 19th century, Austrian physicist Ludwig Boltzmann redefined entropy in terms of microscopic configurations. He proposed that entropy measures the number of ways particles in a system can be arranged, while still producing the same macroscopic outcome. For instance, a messy room has higher entropy than a tidy one, because there are many more ways to scatter clothes, books, and papers around than to arrange them neatly. Boltzmann's equation, S equals KLNW, links entropy S to the logarithm of the number of microstates, W, with K being Boltzmann's constant. This insight bridged the gap between the macroscopic world of thermodynamics and the microscopic realm of atoms and molecules. The implications of entropy extend far beyond physics. In chemistry, entropy helps explain why reactions occur and whether they will proceed spontaneously. For example, dissolving salt in water increases entropy because the ions spread out and mix with water molecules, creating a more disordered state. Life itself seems to defy entropy at first glance. Organisms grow, reproduce, and maintain intricate structures despite the second law. However, living systems are not closed. They import energy from sunlight or food and export waste, increasing the entropy of their surroundings while maintaining internal order. This delicate balance highlights the interplay between energy, information, and organization that defines biological complexity. In cosmology, entropy plays a central role in understanding the arrow of time, the reason we perceive time as flowing in one direction. The universe began in a highly ordered, low-entropy state during the Big Bang and has been evolving toward greater disorder ever since. Stars burn fuel, galaxies collide, and black holes form, all contributing to the relentless increase in cosmic entropy. Some physicists speculate that the ultimate fate of the universe may be a heat death, where all energy is evenly distributed, and no further work can be done. While this scenario remains speculative, it underscores the pervasive influence of entropy on the largest scales imaginable. Entropy also resonates deeply in philosophy and culture, challenging us to confront questions about purpose, decay, and impermanence. The inevitability of entropy mirrors the human experience of aging, loss, and mortality. Yet, it also inspires creativity and resilience, reminding us that order can emerge from chaos through effort, ingenuity, and cooperation. Cities rise from ruins, civilizations rebuild after collapse, and art transforms raw materials into beauty, all acts of pushing back against entropy, however temporarily. These endeavors reflect humanity's unique ability to harness energy and create meaning in a universe driven by randomness. Reflecting on the concept of entropy, it's impossible not to feel a sense of wonder at its universality. What began as a tool for analyzing steam engines has grown into a lens through which we view the cosmos and our place within it. Entropy connects the smallest particles to the vastness of space, revealing patterns and principles that transcend disciplines and scales. It reminds us that progress often arises from grappling with constraints, finding order amidst chaos, and embracing the transient nature of existence. Ultimately, entropy is more than just a scientific principle. It's a metaphor for life itself. It teaches us to value organization, to cherish moments of clarity, and to recognize the beauty in fleeting structures. Whether through the lens of physics, philosophy, or art, entropy inspires awe and curiosity, reminding us that the quest for understanding is never ending. As you contemplate the significance of entropy, consider the countless ways it shapes your daily life. From the warmth of the sun on your skin to the rust forming on metal, its influence is woven into the fabric of reality. It connects the microscopic dance of particles to the macroscopic rhythms of stars and galaxies, challenging us to look beyond appearances, to find unity in diversity, and to embrace the endless possibilities of discovery. Through entropy, we glimpse the beauty and complexity of the cosmos, and our role in unraveling its secrets. The search for exoplanets. The search for exoplanets, planets orbiting stars beyond our solar system, is one of the most thrilling frontiers in modern astronomy. It represents humanity's quest to answer some of the most profound questions we can ask. Are we alone in the universe? Could life exist elsewhere? What do other planetary systems look like? And how do they compare to our own? Over the past few decades, this field has transformed from speculative science fiction into a vibrant area of research, yielding thousands of discoveries that have reshaped our understanding of the cosmos. The story of exoplanets is not just about finding new worlds, it's about redefining our place in the universe. To fully appreciate the significance of exoplanet research, we need to step back and consider the state of astronomy before these discoveries. For centuries, Earth was thought to be unique, a special creation at the center of everything. Even after Copernicus and Galileo shifted our perspective, placing the Sun at the heart of the solar system, the idea persisted that planets might be rare or confined to our corner of the galaxy. After all, detecting objects trillions of miles away, especially ones as small and dim as planets, seemed impossible with the technology available. Stars are billions of times brighter than their planets, making it extraordinarily difficult to distinguish the faint glow of an exoplanet from the overwhelming light of its host star. Yet, driven by curiosity and ingenuity, scientists devised ingenious methods to overcome these challenges. The first confirmed detection of an exoplanet came in 1992, but it wasn't orbiting a star like our Sun. Instead, astronomers Alexander Wolszczan and Dale Frail discovered two planets orbiting a pulsar, a rapidly spinning neutron star left behind after a supernova explosion. These planets were unlike anything in our solar system, likely formed from debris left over after the cataclysmic death of their parent star. While groundbreaking, this discovery raised more questions than answers. Were planets common around other types of stars? Could they exist in environments conducive to life? The real breakthrough came 3 years later, in 1995, when Swiss astronomers Michel Mayor and Didier Queloz announced the discovery of 51 Pegasi b, the first exoplanet orbiting a main-sequence star similar to the Sun. This gas giant, nicknamed a hot Jupiter because of its massive size and proximity to its star, challenged prevailing theories about planet formation. According to the nebular hypothesis, which explains how our solar system formed, large gas giants should form far from their stars, where temperatures are low enough for gases to condense. The existence of 51 Pegasi b suggested that planetary systems could be far more diverse and stranger than previously imagined. Since then, the pace of discovery has accelerated dramatically thanks to advances in technology and innovative detection methods. One of the earliest techniques, known as the radial velocity method, or Doppler spectroscopy, relies on the gravitational tug-of-war between a star and its orbiting planet. As a planet orbits, it causes the star to wobble slightly. By measuring subtle shifts in the star's spectrum caused by this motion, astronomers can infer the presence of a planet and estimate its mass. This method led to many early discoveries, including 51 Pegasi b, but it favors massive planets close to their stars, limiting its scope. Another powerful technique is the transit method, which detects planets by observing dips in a star's brightness as a planet passes in front of it. When aligned just right, the planet blocks a tiny fraction of the star's light, creating a characteristic dip in brightness. NASA's Kepler Space Telescope, launched in 2009, revolutionized exoplanet hunting using this method. Over its 9-year mission, Kepler monitored hundreds of thousands of stars, identifying over 2,600 confirmed exoplanets and thousands more candidates. Among its discoveries were Earth-sized planets, multi-planet systems, and even planets orbiting binary stars, real-life Tatooines straight out of science fiction. Beyond Kepler, other missions and observatories have expanded our capabilities. The Transiting Exoplanet Survey Satellite, TESS, launched in 2018, focuses on nearby stars, searching for planets that may be easier to study with current and future telescopes. Meanwhile, ground-based instruments like the European Southern Observatory's Very Large Telescope, VLT, and the upcoming Extremely Large Telescope, ELT, are pushing the boundaries of direct imaging, capturing actual pictures of exoplanets by blocking out the glare of their host stars. These efforts are revealing details about atmospheres, compositions, and potential habitability. One of the most exciting aspects of exoplanet research is the search for habitable worlds, planets located in the so-called habitable zone, where conditions might allow liquid water to exist on the surface. Water is essential for life as we know it, making these regions prime targets for investigation. In 2016, astronomers announced the discovery of Proxima Centauri b, a rocky planet orbiting within the habitable zone of Proxima Centauri, the closest star to the Sun. Though much remains unknown about its atmosphere and climate, the mere possibility of a nearby world capable of supporting life has sparked immense excitement. The James Webb Space Telescope, launched in 2021, promises to take exoplanet studies to the next level. Equipped with advanced spectroscopic tools, James Webb Space Telescope can analyze the atmospheres of distant planets, searching for signs of oxygen, methane, carbon dioxide, and other molecules associated with biological activity. Such biomarkers could provide indirect evidence of extraterrestrial life, marking a monumental leap forward in astrobiology. At the same time, researchers are developing concepts for future missions, such as space-based interferometers and starshade technologies, designed to directly image Earth-like planets and study them in unprecedented detail. Yet for all its promise, the search for exoplanets raises profound philosophical and ethical questions. If we find evidence of life elsewhere, what does that mean for humanity's sense of uniqueness? How should we approach communicating with intelligent civilizations, assuming they exist? And what responsibilities do we have as stewards of knowledge about the cosmos? These questions remind us that science is not conducted in a vacuum. It shapes and is shaped by the values and aspirations of society. Reflecting on the story of exoplanets, it's impossible not to feel a sense of awe at the sheer scale and diversity of the universe. Every new discovery adds another piece to the cosmic puzzle, challenging our assumptions and expanding our horizons. From scorching hot Jupiters to frozen super-Earths, from rogue planets drifting through interstellar space to potentially habitable worlds orbiting red dwarfs, the variety of exoplanets defies imagination. They remind us that nature is far richer and more inventive than we might ever expect. Ultimately, the search for exoplanets is more than just a scientific endeavor. It's a testament to humanity's enduring curiosity and hope. It connects us to the vastness of the universe, grounding us in the realization that we are part of something far greater than ourselves. Whether through the lens of technology, philosophy, or art, Exoplanets inspire wonder and curiosity, reminding us that the quest for understanding is never-ending. As you contemplate the significance of exoplanets, consider the countless ways they shape our view of the cosmos. From the data streaming in from telescopes to the dreams of exploring alien worlds, their influence is woven into the fabric of human ambition. They challenge us to look beyond appearances, to find unity in diversity, and to embrace the endless possibilities of discovery. Through exoplanets, we glimpse the beauty and complexity of the cosmos, and our role in unraveling its secrets. We've explored just a few of the countless scientific discoveries that have changed the course of history. From the mysteries of the cosmos to the intricacies of the human genome, science continues to illuminate the wonders of our world. Thank you for joining us on this journey. May these stories of curiosity and innovation inspire you.